into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune to my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning espresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Expresso on S3, and I hope you had a fantastic Monday. I mean, in fact, you had a fantastic weekend, because today is Monday morning and it's time to be inspired. Now, as we near the end of August, that's the end of Women's Month, today's panel discussion will really focus on the decision to prioritize a career or to prioritize being a mom, having a family. Now, can a woman exist having both? That's the question we're asking this morning. Or does one aspect need to be sacrificed to thrive in the other? Some serious conversations that's going to be had, and we discuss this career versus family dilemma with business consultant Heike Kannemeyer, Director and COO of Mrs. South Africa, Marlene Reddy Ribeiro, as well as a familiar face on your afternoon screens, Afternoon Express media personality, Palesa Tembe. They are part of our panel. And then also to entertain us this morning, it is Monday. We have artist by the name of Scintilla joining us, who is unafraid to delve into the topic of love, loss, navigating relationships, and learning how to have it. In fact, how to love being alone. Some very interesting topics for today, and of course a lot to look forward to between now and 9 o'clock. But let's say good morning to someone else that has something to ask you. Morning, G-Man.
So many questions this morning. Morning, Zozo. I hope you had an amazing weekend. You're looking fitter and fitter by the second. And hopefully you were inspired by all the amazing athletes who completed the Comrades Marathon this weekend. These incredible women doing amazing things. So congratulations to everyone who made it through that trial. But of course, this morning we are focusing on a different kind of challenge. And I'm so glad that this has come up, because this was a subplot with so many of the discussions we've had throughout this entire Women's Month. So I'm going to put a very difficult question to you, and I want you to really think about it and please give us an honest answer. So if you got that once-in-a-lifetime job opportunity, that job opportunity that you know is the right fit, that only does come around every once and a while, and you just have to take it, what do you do? Do you choose between your career? Do you choose a family? Or do you try to balance both, which is very difficult? Hopefully we'll have some answers to help you do that today, but I'd like to know where you're coming from. So please let us know via our WhatsApp line 063-408-8863. Drop us a voice note or hit us up on any of our social media platforms. We are loving Women's Month, and we're going to savor every last second that we can today. But right now, let's get you set for the day ahead.
Thank you, Graham. Starting off with national news, some of the world's largest travel companies have signed a statement urging the South African government to end trophy hunting. The firms, which include Booking.com, Expedia and TripAdvisor, say they want South Africa's tourism industry to be more wildlife friendly. A fortnight ago, a survey by the charity World Animal Protection revealed that more than 80% of international tourists and more than 70% of South Africans wish to see an end to trophy hunting here. And staying with local news, Mpumalanga's Department of Community Safety, Security and Liaison has called on communities, faith-based organizations and community police forums to partake in the fight against crime. The department held a community crime imbizo at Westleton in Merlo, where communities have been urged to work closely with the police to bring an end to crime. This imbizo comes after a learner was stabbed to death at Sabisa Secondary School earlier this month. It is alleged that the incident was gang-related. Moving to news beyond our own borders, Angola has held a state funeral for ex-President José Eduardo dos Santos in the capital, Luanda, after his death in Spain in July. Several African leaders, amongst them South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa and Portugal's President, were in attendance. His death sparked a political row after his daughter, Quiche dos Santos, opposed holding the funeral in Angola. Dos Santos was a veteran of the Independence War and a dominant figure in Angolan political history, having ruled the country for 38 years. And the U.S. has said its two guided missile cruisers, the USS Antietam and the USS Chancellorsville, were demonstrating freedom of navigation in international waters by sailing through the Taiwan Strait. Now, an unofficial barrier between Taiwan and China. This shortly after tensions between Taiwan and China increased following a visit by U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in Taiwan earlier this month. China reacted to Pelosi's visit by holding military drills in the area. Yesterday, Taiwan's defense minister said it had detected 23 Chinese aircrafts and 8 Chinese ships operating around Taiwan. And this morning's discussion is all about prioritizing a career versus being a mom. And can a woman exist having both? Well, next month, NASA will send a new crew to the International Space Station. And for the first time, there will be a Native American woman aboard. Now, astronaut and mom, Colonel Nicole Mann of the Waikiki Indian tribe, will be mission commander responsible for all phases of the flight. Now, being both astronaut and mom can be tricky, she says, but she managed to balance and compartmentalize it all. Now, Mann, with a master's in mechanical engineering, says her husband and her young son Jackson receive her full attention when she's home. And from the moment she walked into the door until Jackson goes to bed, she's mom, not an astronaut. And she's learned to balance her home and work life, focusing on the task at hand. And she says, meanwhile, she often sits outside with Jackson looking at the stars, looking at the moon, and says, hopefully someday he'll be able to work with mom and walk on the moon. Well, there we go. She said that smiling. What a beautiful story. And of course, that's where we leave your morning headlines for now. Let's take a first look at your sport with Graham.
Well, from those levels in parenting, let's bring it back to the levels in sport this weekend. Couple of happy faces in our cup action. Let's start with that. Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates and AmaZulu have all progressed to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. So Pirates defeated Royal AM 2-1 thanks to goals from Vincent Pule and Tobiso Munyane. Then AmaZulu, they needed extra time to beat Cape Town City 2-1. The winning goal coming from Lehlononolo Mochoro. Then on Sunday, Kaizer Chiefs, they beat Stellenbosch 4-3 on penalties in a thriller there. The clash was delayed by 30 minutes due to traffic congestion, fans forcing entry into the Donny Craven Stadium. And Sundowns, they overcame Tshwane rival SuperSport 2-0 with 2 late goals. So they still keep bragging rights this season. And speaking of which, let's head a little further afield and continue with football. Liverpool equalled the Premier League's record win with a 9-0 demolition of Bournemouth. So the Reds equalised on Manchester United's 9-0 wins against Ipswich back in 1995 and Southampton back in 2021, as well as Leicester's thrashing of Southampton in 2019. Then elsewhere, Erling Haaland, wow, he is cashing in. First hat-trick for Man City, inspired the defending champions to come back from 2-0 down at half-time to beat Crystal Palace 4-2. Then Arsenal, they maintained their perfect start with a dramatic 2-1 win over Fulham. And then a 10-man Chelsea, they beat Leicester 2-1. Manchester United, they continued their revival with a 1-0 victory over Southampton. Then Harry Kane moved on to third on the all-time scorers list as he put 2 in the back of the net as Spurs beat Forest 2-0 yesterday. Then on to Formula One, a dominant performance from world champion Max Verstappen as he blew away his rivals with a commanding performance at the Belgian Grand Prix to take a significant step towards a second successive driver's title. And as Red Bull celebrated a 1-2 with Sergio Perez. So Verstappen has now won 9 races this season, coming home 17 seconds clear of the pack, with race pole sitter Carlos Sainz finishing 3rd for Ferrari. Charles Leclerc, he struggled in the other Ferrari after starting 15th and finishing 5th on the grid. Then Lewis Hamilton, he recorded his first ever DNF of the season after colliding with Fernando Alonso. Then let's bring it back to the road here in South Africa and 2 amazing performances. Tete Morena Dejana won the Comrades Marathon at only his 2nd time of asking. The 34-year-old, who finished 50th in the 2019 race, that's incredible, lived up to his pre-race promise that he would ace the 2022 Ultra ultramarathon, and that's exactly what he did. He reached the finish line in 5 hours and 30 minutes, 38 seconds. Then controversial Russian runner Alexandra Morozova, she stunned the women's race. Morozova, who went to court to keep her place in the race, came home at Durban's Moses Mabhida Stadium in a time of 6 hours, 12 minutes and 42 seconds to improve on her previous 2 runner-up positions. But to everybody who completed the Comrades Marathon yesterday, we salute you. And that's where we leave our sport for now. Yes, we'll have to touch on the rugby in just a moment, but stick around for that. First, let's see what the Monday weather looks like.
A very good morning to you, South Africa. Yes, a first look at the weather, but first we take a look at what some environmental news has in store for us. Now, nearly a third of the country's water is lost due to alien invasive plant species in critical water catchment areas where rainwater naturally collects into rivers and dams. Now, alien plants such as pine and wattle trees threaten up to 30% of the water supply in major cities such as Cape Town and Port Elizabeth. The city of Cape Town says efforts to continue to reclaim water losses caused by invasive alien plants has been ongoing. A year ago, the city and the Nature Conservancy, they signed a 2-year memorandum of understanding, which involves a 50 million rand commitment to clear invasive alien trees in remote mountainous areas. Now, Mayoral Committee member for Water and Sanitation, Zahid Badruddin, says research indicates that the restoration of priority subcatchments through the control of alien plant invasions will result in estimated annual water benefits of 55 billion litres, which is the equivalent of nearly 2 months of Cape Town's annual water supply. Some big things going on there, certainly something that we need to be paying attention to. Now we move from environmental news, we take a look at the skies. We see those sunrise views that you've sent through. Thank you very much. First up is Samson Boysen, who shared this image of the golden clouds out in Atlantis this morning. Take a look at that. Nijma Badin also came through with a stunning pink and purple horizon that's out in Gqeberha. GQ, stand up this morning. Joy shared this pastel morning sky from Newlands, certainly spreading lots of joy this morning. It's out in East Durban with the city lights still glittering in the distance. We can see those. And one of our regulars, Diane van der Hoven, shared this warm-coloured sunrise. It's out in the fields of Howick, KZN. What a way to start your day. Thank you so much for those. Finally, Ricky out in Golden Valley came in this morning with this neon pink morning sky, giving us a Northern Lights feel this morning. I mean, who needs to even travel any further when our sunrise views are looking like this? Please do share yours. We want to see what it's looking like in your part of the country. You can WhatsApp us on 063 408 8863. And now to set you up for the day, let's take a first look at those temperatures. Polokwane, we start with you. Your low is 11. You will reach a high of 29. It's a sunny day out there for you. If you're out in Mbombela, expect very hot temperatures today, 12. That's your minimum. Your maximum is 36 degrees. Pretoria, the capital city, starts off at 12, peaking at 27, with Johannesburg coming in with some sun and clouds today, 11. That's your minimum, reaching a maximum of 25. Mahikeng, sunny times for you today, 9 and 30. Klerksdorp, 7, peaking at 29, with Kimberley coming in at a low of 2, reaching a high of 23. Bloemfontein starts off pretty cold, 0, that's your minimum, reaching a maximum of 23, with rain expected out in Richards Bay today, 13 minimum, reaching a max of 23. Pietermaritzburg, rainy times for you, 80%, that's what I'm talking about, 6, reaching a high of 20, with Durban coming in rainy as well today, 11, your low, reaching highs of 21. If you're out Mthatha, 3, that's your minimum, your maximum 19. East London, 9 and 20. Craddock, -1, that's your start. You will peak at 18, with Gqeberha coming in at 10 and 16. Rainy out in George as well today, 8, peaking at 13. The mother city, Cape Town, comes in at 10 and 15, with Worcester starting off at 1 and reaching highs of 14. If you're out in Sutherland today, -4 is your start. You will peak at 11. Upington, 6, that's your low. Your maximum is 25 degrees. And that's what it's looking like across the country, no matter what it's looking like. Rain, sun, wind, whatever. It's a Monday, it's a brand new week, and I know you're going to make it a feel-good type of day.
Thank you, Tubbsy. Yes, we are making it a field type kind of day because with the weather slowly starting to warm and move towards summer days, it's time to plan our summer wardrobe. Now, have you ever worn a golfer dress? Well, it is a classic golfer reimagined into a dress for a chic and sporty edge. And I'm so excited to try one out for today, but I need you to help me choose between these two golfer dress options. So option one, it is the striped golfer dress featuring white and red stripes. The other one is this red tipped golfer dress. So which one do you think I should wear today? We're going to go for stripes or solids. It feels like a game of pool. Well, choose. And in order for you to make that choice, head on over to Expresso's social media pages to vote for your favorite golfer dress. Don't forget to include that hashtag styled by Woolies, and we will reveal the winning dress a little bit later on the show because that's the dress I will be wearing.
Take lashes higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara. The curved brush volumizes and lifts lashes vertically for a wide-eyed lash look. Hemp seed oil conditions for healthy-looking lashes. Go higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara.
One, two, three, 4, 5. Sorry. You have to change it. I do. Little bit more. And you happy with me here?
Yeah. Just the one. Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we don't have to take the glaze off.
I'm actually just going to like sleep in the beauty room. I got my gown and I got like a little throw. And I'm just gonna... Yeah. That's actually where I got the idea from Tubbs. Guys, Graham, I don't know what I'm coming to say here.
No one does.
Luckily, you are a TV presenter, you know.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful souls. Thank you so much for joining this conversation because this might be one of the most important that we've had all year, or ever, for that matter. I think a lot of people have the dream of being successful in their career, obviously, and also raising a family. It's a lot to balance those two important aspects of life that demand so much of your time. But it is double if you think about it. So however, more and more women are finding themselves at a crossroads that requires them to almost choose between investing in their career or investing in their family. Well, today we're going to discuss career versus family, this dilemma with our very esteemed panel consisting of business consultant Heike Kannemeyer, director and COO of Mrs. South Africa, Marlene Reddy Ribeiro, as well as a very familiar face on your afternoon TV screens, and we don't mind that because we love seeing that face. It's media personality Palesa Temba. Well done, guys. Thank you so much for being, I say well done in a general sense for just being awesome and amazing, but for being here this early on a Monday morning, we really appreciate it. This is going to be a very important one for you to be involved in as well. So please, we encourage you at home to join the discussion, share your thoughts, any insights, anything that you've experienced firsthand. Let us know. 063 408 8863. Wow, guys, are we gonna solve the problems of the world? Because I think
We'll try.
Well, the thing is, you're kind of getting it right in your own lives, which is why we've invited you here at various stages of that kind of developmental arc. Heike, maybe I can start with you. Have you reached that gateway? Because I would imagine every woman is forced to go through this gateway at a point to decide, okay, am I going all in, career, all-in family. And it's not for just thrills that you decide to set family aside. You've got dreams, you've got hopes, you want to achieve things. If anything, you want to set an example for your daughter.
Exactly.
How do you approach this question in your life? How have you been able to kind of wrestle with this conundrum?
Yeah, so I think for me, I am really thankful that I was able to dedicate at least 8 to 9 years of my life to my career, starting off. And I think, you know, it wasn't quite planned exactly that way, but it just so happened. And I'm really thankful for that because I was able to start right at the bottom as an intern and grow then, you know, as a senior person within my career, and then also at the same time as a business consultant or owning my own business. So I really had that kind of step ahead, and then going into, you know, having children and, you know, then looking back and saying, okay, I can, after maternity leave, go back to work feeling confident in my skill and my ability, and really growing first before really going, you know, back to work and then really owning that space as well. So I'm thankful for that I was able to do that.
You paid your dues.
Exactly.
You've got to do in business. You've got to climb that ladder.
Exactly.
Palesa, where are you at, girl? Because you have invested. Rhodes University, you've invested in your education, you've invested in this incredible product that you're offering in terms of TV.
Yeah.
Tick tock, tick tock.
Oh my goodness,
Do you feel
Graham.
that clock ticking? Do you feel the pressure to go out there and take that step?
Absolutely, now more than ever. You know, it's actually quite interesting because I've always thought that by the time I hit 31, I'll have the marriage, I'd have the kids, I had this whole plan for my life. Fast forward, now that I am 31, I'm knocking on 32's door, and I'm just like, if I want this full-blown family that I've always dreamed of, this mini soccer team, nyana, I gotta get going. However, the pressures of work are sitting here. I'm traveling the country. I'm up and down. Half the time, I don't even know where I'm flying to. So at what stage, then, can I now fit in this entire responsibility?
It's almost like you've got to earn the right. And I'm sorry to say that because it's like women have to then work twice as hard to earn the right to have a family. So you've got to get it all bedded down. For instance, become the head of a massive organization doing incredible things. But it doesn't seem like you're sacrificing one for the other, which I know is probably not the case. I'm sure there have been many sacrifices along the way. What have those sacrifices been to get to this point where you can be both a COO and a doting mother? How have you found that balance?
I don't think there's a perfect balance, and there's a lot of mom guilt, I think is a key word. I'm sure these ladies have experienced a bit of that, where you feel at times that maybe you are sacrificing too much of your family time. But for me, I think it comes with the support and drawing on my parents or my partner or the sisterhood to step in when I simply cannot be there. And it's not hard. I mean, it's not easy, but there is a lot of mom guilt still.
Yeah, and I think, unfortunately, that comes with the territory. You do need those support structures around you. I want to look at the bigger picture because for men, you become successful, you attract a wife to you. You attract these things to you the more successful you are. As a woman, the more successful and achiever-driven you are, suddenly men are terrified of you.
Exactly. Yes, I agree.
And I can understand that. I love the fact that I'm watching my wife hit her straps now. She is starting to come into her own, but it means we've both got to work twice as hard to provide that structure because while she's working, I can't be working.
Yeah.
We've got to find that balance. What do you think a woman should hold firm in her head in terms of what she is striving for to find that balance? Because surely to be successful in business, you've got to be hungry. But to be successful as a mother, you've got to set everything else aside. So how do you keep that focus?
Yeah, I think it's quite an interesting one. You know, I thought back actually about it, and it's quite interesting because a lot of people, I find it very difficult to believe what you said as well, is that some people find me intimidating, and it's really so difficult to believe, and I'm sure the ladies have experienced that as well. And I think that's, for me, you know, if I'm really open and honest, and, you know, if you ask the question, I have to say that there is this huge factor of, you know, as you said, men, you know, when they have the career and the income and everything, it's like a magnet for women in some way. But then when the woman tries to achieve the same, it kind of seems that it's intimidating to men.
The partner choices disappear.
Exactly, exactly. And but I think think, the smart men like yourself know that, women, even though successful and independent, they still need the love and support and want to share their lives with someone. And so I think that's the important thing to remember, and I think that's amazing that you're able to do that, is celebrate and find that balance. I think that's key, and I'm thankful in my own life with my husband as well, that he, if I need to be here, someone needs to take care of our 4-year-old, and make sure that he's up for school and gets going, everything. So, I think there is definitely to finding that balance and the right partner.
And I think a lot of people don't realize that there's so many sacrifices that need to be made along the way. So even pre-family stage, which I suppose a lot of people kind of tap into the late 20s, early 30s, that even before that, there's sacrifices that need to be made. Family planning, making sure that one doesn't fall pregnant too soon, You always have to have your eye on the prize, because for a woman, it's not only that physical kind of time and that toll that it takes, but there's a psychological toll that it takes. So there's so many dynamics, so many things that you need to think about when starting a family or wanting to kind of even
and then you've got to work twice as hard to be paid half as much as a man, just as your reward. And we're going to continue with this discussion. I know this is going to hit a lot of nerves, but hopefully there are going to be some gems in there that can show you the way for the next step in your life. 063-408-8863. Drop us a voice note. We'd love to hear from you.
Oh, well, I loved everything these ladies had to say, because, of course, it's a reality for most of us. And when it comes to your own fitness, building a solid foundation for fitness, it is key in growing in strength as well as in endurance. Now, some of the best exercises for women are fundamental. In fact, it's foundational movements that will sculpt, strengthen and challenge your total body just by using your own body weight. And here to take us through some of the best exercises that is really tailored for the ladies is Leisha Fitness. So she's here joining us. Leisha, when it comes to body weight, I mean, the heavier you are, that means the more weight you now have to deal with.
Exactly. So certain movements do become more difficult, but there are variations that we can use. Okay. So fitness is for everyone, no matter what you're going through.
Fitness is for everyone. So just to give you a background, I'm busy training for the Cape Town Marathon, so I almost feel like my strength training has been compromised for my endurance and for putting on time on the road. Yes. So what are you taking us through today?
So today we're going to start with straight arms. You're going to take it down to the mat. You can either step out with the feet or you can jump out, and you're going to go for 3 plank jacks. From there, you're going to bring it back in and you're going to stand. Okay, so that's the first one. So down again. So you can either step or jump. 3 plank jacks. Lovely. And back. And stand. Let's go one more time. And down. Down. 3. Good. Lovely, and up. So this is a cardio-based little routine that we have today, and there's many different exercises you can do to get your cardio involved.
Okay.
Right, so second one we're going to do for today. Again, we're going to go down because our heart rate's nice and high.
Oh, it's very high.
That core involved. So taking it down, you're going to shoulder tap. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And you're going to do mountain climbers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Good. And again, 4 shoulder taps. Lovely. And 6 mountain climbers. It's nice to do some combos. And one more time.
I prefer combos because it's always a little bit more exciting.
Exactly. And it gets a bit boring sometimes. So it's good to add in some different exercises. Right, ready for one more?
One more.
How's that heart rate? Good. 2, 3, and 4, and 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. Lovely, and from there we're going to stand. So do you feel that? Heart rate. Heart rate. Want to get the heart rate involved. So the third one I have for you today, this one you can do 2 ways. If you're not comfortable with jumping, maybe you have a sore knee or a sore back, or just in general, some people do get a bit nervous to jump at times.
Jumping exercises, I've noticed, not for everyone.
It's not for everyone, yeah. Okay, so you can either squat low, and then you're going to step out, step in, step out on the other side, and step in. Now, this is using full range of the leg muscles instead of just focusing on one half. The jumping version, so you're starting here, jumping down and out, and in, and out, and in, and out. Which one you want to try?
I was going to go for the controlled one, and you can go for the jumpy one.
Right, so controlled version, jumping version. Are we ready? In 3, 2, 1. So, there's your controlled version on the left, and slightly more advanced version.
I feel like I need to keep up with your pace.
But now remember, the one I'm doing, see that heart rate? That heart rate spikes a little bit more. Same with that one though, because you're obviously doing a few more.
Yeah.
Okay. So fourth one, also involving the legs, also jumping version, or slower version.
Yeah.
A lot of people struggle with this movement.
Oh, the jumping lunges. I feel like you can almost injure yourself if you're not strong enough or focus on your posture.
So if these muscles, let's say, aren't strong enough yet, you just stand up and you
keep
jump.
it close.
You don't even bend the knees. You just keep it there. Otherwise, the normal version,
which is going down.
Just like that.
Oh, well, Leisha Fitness is not going anywhere, of course. Keep up with her on social media. She's Leisha Fitness, and she's staying with us for 2 more fitness segments on your Feel Good Breakfast show. We just did a little bit of a, what would you call this? A bit of a dynamic?
A mild cardio workout.
A mild cardio workout.
Mild, slightly mild, more mild.
Hopefully you'll be able to join us in the next one. She's not going anywhere.
Morning, morning, morning.
There are those who care for others, ask nothing in return, but might be in need of some care themselves. If you feel that someone in your community deserves some recognition for all they do, then Panado can't wait to hear from you. Simply reply to the Afternoon Express Facebook and Twitter pages, tell us who they are, what they do for their community, and why they should receive some care with the hashtag A Dose of Care and the hashtag PanadoSA. They can stand a chance of winning a dose of care to the value of 5,000 Rand from Panado. Afternoon Express will then add another 5,000 Rand towards the charity or nominee of choice, so they too can share in some care. Don't miss the Panado hashtag A Dose of Care competition running from the 1st of August right through to the 15th of November on Afternoon Express. T's and C's apply.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back as we continue to discuss career versus family. Must it be a binary choice? That is what we're asking this morning. I think for many women it seems to be a very tough question imposed on them by society. Well, it's time to delve a little deeper into the career versus family dilemma. And we're joined once again by a business consultant, Heike Kannemeyer, director and COO of Mrs. South Africa, Marlene Reddy Ribeiro, as well as media personality and Afternoon Express presenter, Palesa Tembe. And we, of course, encourage you guys to join the conversation. We'd love to hear your thoughts and your experiences firsthand. 063-408-8863. In fact, let's start with that. Here is a note that came through from Tembe. Let's hear from her.
Morning, morning, morning. Temba from Cape Town. I will try to balance them both, man. I'll try to multitask. Multitask is everything, man. Happy Monday, guys.
He has the faith, man. He has
Absolutely.
the confidence.
But that's simple.
Yeah. What have you been doing wrong, guys? Just get it right. Let's hear one from Jocelyn.
Good morning, my Expresso family.
Morning.
Thank you for the opportunity. I would balance both. You know why? Because family comes first. Thank you, Jocelyn. Bye.
Thank you, Jocelyn. I suppose that's the reality. You've kind of just got to get it right. You don't really have a choice.
Just keep trying.
And also, it's quite nice to hear Sinetemba from a male's perspective, like male getting into this conversation, because a lot of the time it's quite female heavy and it's up to us to make all the decisions.
Yes.
But I'm so keen to hear from the men.
It's a dual thing, and I'm figuring this out only at the young age of 43 or however old I am right now. I've got to ask you this, Palesa, because this is a ticking clock, you know, and we joke about it, but that is the reality. Physically, you can only wait so long. What's the plan? Is there a cut-off date? How do you approach something as crazy as this? Not to completely freak you out, but
yeah,
how are you
my
approaching
goodness.
it now that you are approaching that kind of 35-year-old
threshold? Yeah, absolutely, G. I think right now it is starting to dawn on me. It's like the alarm bells are ringing. Funny enough, I actually was working very closely with also someone in the entertainment industry, and she just had come back from the doctor, 38 years old, and she was like, the doctor says that that's it. The eggs that I do have are not even good enough to be fertilized. So she was like, Pally girl, get on it.
Yeah.
And, but now then there's so many other questions, because do I feel like I'm at the right stage of my career to make that jump? A lot of people are like, it's your time, girl. Don't get, you know.
And our industry is big for that as well.
Our
You've
industry
got to
is,
capitalize on your
you
career,
have to capitalize when it's your time. So do I have an alarm bell? No, not yet. I don't have a number. However, do I want to start yesterday? Yes, I think now it's time. I know my mom's watching.
We are aware that it requires two to create a baby.
Two
So
to tango.
that's a whole different conversation here. Heike, when we look at this, it's starting to dawn on me that as much as we'd like to provide a different solution, there might not be one. That this is the reality, that you've got to find a way. So striking that balance, hitting that millisecond timing of career and then family, what financial plans need to be put in place? Let's get practical here. What should a woman be focused on doing from the second they enter into their career path, building up to that point where they can take a step out to start a family? How do we approach that, do you think?
Yeah, I think it is a very tricky balance, and there isn't I mean, everyone has their own unique lives, careers that you need to follow, and, you know, you never know which way it's going to go. But I think, you know, very interestingly enough, you know, just doing research for this conversation I was very surprised to understand that, you know, at the age already of 35, you need to consider, you know, what it looks like in terms of, you know, going for fertility treatments. And that for me is quite a shocker. It's quite scary.
It is honestly, having had a front row seat to watch someone very dear to me go through that process, honestly one of the toughest things that they've ever had to experience. It is really, really difficult.
Yeah, so I think, you know, we just had the conversation. It's very difficult to find the balance, but really I think the important thing is when you are young, you know, after finishing your studies and entering into the workplace, is really to give it your best shot at that particular time. And then when you are heading, you know, depends again on everyone's career is different, but when you are heading towards your, you know, the 32, 33, 34, you know, if you haven't yet found a partner and, you know, made your plans in terms of family plans, then you do need to seriously, you know, consider, you know, which way you're going to go. And of course, it can also just financially get costly thereafter, you know, thinking about fertility treatments, procedures, etc., etc. So yeah, it's a tricky balance, but each one for its own. I think you know, you need to do what works for you. I think that's important.
And that's the crazy thing about life, is just when you think you've figured out your calling, you have kids and that seems to be it. Or you have kids and then go and find another career and that's your calling, and that's what life does to us. It continuously throws us curveballs. I want to find out from Arlene in just a moment what a career-driven woman brings to the family. Let's flip the script a little bit. I want to be a house husband for just 5 minutes. I'd love to feel that. But we are broaching a very difficult conversation right now. Career versus motherhood. We'd love to hear from you. 063-408-8863.
Come on. I also want to be a house husband. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? But let's talk about this, right? Let's, on a more serious note, focus on the fact that every career-driven woman needs to take some time out for a meal. And this next recipe is a winner. It's a beautiful one. Arayes, they are Lebanese meat-stuffed pitas that are a popular street food in Lebanon. It's a great way to really use those leftover meat pieces and makes for a really salivating. Oh, that's going to make everybody salivate. Yes, that savory meal. Oh, yes. Teresa shows us how all of this comes to life and how it can become a classic. In fact, how it has indeed become a classic. Teresa, good morning.
How are you?
Stunning, stunning. Very, very well, thank you. You look really good.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so this is really, really good. You're taking us traveling all the way to the streets of Lebanon.
Yes, yes, lots of flavor, and this is a really, really nice dish and so easy. So I'm going to put you on pita bread duty, if you don't mind.
That's simple enough.
Just going to split them in half, not all the way, because
Okay.
we're going to stuff those later.
All right. Do they have to be this small? Because,
No.
you know, for me, generosity when it comes to portions is what I'm all about. I want it the bigger, the better.
If you're hungry, go for the big ones.
There we
These
go.
are nice, sort of bite-sized, nice for TV bites. But,
Okay, great. Okay, so
you
I'll
can
have,
go big if
I'll
you
have
like.
2 then. Okay.
2 for you, 2 for me.
Great.
So I've got beef mince in the bowl. I've added some chopped red onion. We've got some parsley and coriander that we've chopped.
You've already got my full attention at all of those. I mean, that's just
Delicious
flavor
flavors.
packing, right?
Yes, we've got some garlic.
Nice.
And then we've got lots of spices. So some paprika, some cumin, and some coriander.
Are the Lebanese big on their spices? Because I always wonder, because they do have such a nice variety, right?
Yeah,
right? What is most popular there in those sort
gosh.
of culinary spaces?
I don't know about most popular, but yeah, definitely a lot of spice and
Yeah.
flavor. Yeah, that sort of Middle
They're all about
Eastern
flavor.
vibe.
They're
and
all about flavor.
Totally.
So you're mixing
So
all
you're
of that
mixing
up
it all together, and you can use lamb mince as well.
Okay.
And if you're entertaining friends, do this step earlier in the day, so when your friends arrive, you can just stuff them and cook them, and you're not faffing around in the kitchen. Although,
Correct.
this is very quick.
And it's also quite interactive. I find that sometimes, I mean, maybe if you are someone like me, so when you're hosting, you want your guests to also earn their dish, their meal. Okay, you want to make them help in the kitchen. It's a really simple one. In fact, because it's so simple, we've put it on our website, expressoshow.com. On there, you will find a list of all of the ingredients you're going to need, as well as a step-by-step guide of how you can achieve Teresa's classic of arrayes.
All right, so we're going to take our Clover Classic spread,
Fabuloso.
put it into our pan.
In it goes. We know that Clover Classic, it's an ideal and versatile fat spread that can be used daily for spreading, for cooking, even for baking. It contains 7 vitamins, and it's made with a touch of clover cream for that, you know, smoother spreadability, because you want it to really smooth, nice, and well, to spread nice and smooth as you go. So go on to expressoshow.com and check it out.
All right, so all we're going to do is pop these in the pan. So don't have the heat too high. And you just want to cook them until the meat is cooked through.
All right.
If they're not quite cooked through, you can just finish them in the oven.
Okay.
So we're looking for a nice golden pita bread, and then that the mince is all cooked through, and then you can serve them with any dipping sauce that you like.
The really nice thing about mince, right, is that if you prepared this, for example, earlier on before your guests arrive, is that you just have to heat it up and it doesn't lose its sort of, I don't, how do I call it? It's goodness.
It's goodness.
It doesn't lose its goodness. It can stay for a while.
Yes, yeah. And that's it. So pop them on a platter, put your sauce next to it, dip and enjoy.
And you're good to go.
Super easy.
Simple as that. Easy peasy. Now go on to expressoshow.com if you want to get your hands on this recipe. Maybe make some at your house. Send us some pictures and show us how that's going. I can tell you now they're going to be a convenient hit and a heat as well. But certainly something that's going to turn into a classic in your own home as well.
Clover's range of margarines and spreads. Classic spread. Mama Bake.
Margie, how do you know what we like?
I know someone who knows.
Spread the Margie love.
Made with love by Clover.
Well, very good morning to the Expresso.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back as we're back into our discussion on career versus family, which seems to be a choice many women must face under unfair scrutiny at some point in their lives. Yep, it's a tough draw, and we're joined once again by business consultant Aika Kanamea, director and COO of Mrs. South Africa, Marlene Reddy-Ribeiro, as well as media personality and good friend Palesa Tembe. And we encourage you guys to join the discussion. 063-408-8863 is our WhatsApp line. In fact, we had a couple come through. Let's hear from Kabelo.
Well, very good morning to the Expresso show with the rest of the team. What I think is more important to me between my career and raising a family is a career success. Because if you're successful, you're able to take care of your family, you know? So, yeah, I think career success is important. So, yeah, thank you.
It was a dirty trick using the kid to reinforce his message there, but we pick up what you're putting down, Kabelo. Let's hear from Nompelo.
Good morning to you all. My name is Nompilo, and given a choice, I would choose both. I would try to strike a balance between my career, and I also strike a balance between raising a family, because both of them are important. In this economy, we also need the money, but you also need a family to go back to when you have achieved all the things and you have the money. So, yeah.
Yeah, speak it, Nompilo, speak it into existence. Because that's the bottom line here.
Yeah.
And are we having this warm, fuzzy conversation for nothing? Because the reality is most women in this country have to work.
Yes,
They don't have a choice to just sit at home and have it. We've got so many child-run households being run by girls or gogos in this space. So let's look at the empowerment that comes with having a career. Why do you think it's important to bed that down? And if Kabelo was right, success in that career gives you the opportunity to be able to have a family. But what do you think you bring to the party, being a successful mother?
Well, I think the research shows that working women are more confident. They're more obviously financially stable. They are positive role models to their kids. I mean, you want to teach your children to be independent and successful and passionate and driven.
Especially daughters.
Especially daughters. You have to be that example. And I think it's just great to live in this day and age where there's no archetype. We don't have to be one or the other.
Yeah.
We can be whatever we choose to be.
And you really can. You really can do that.
Yeah.
I'm saying that to you. You can do it, Palesa. You can get it right.
You know what? I'm actually at a stage right now where this is exactly what it's all about. I really am looking at those older mentors who have been able to do it, the Masitsana Kumalos of this world, the people who have been able to still have a stronghold on the entertainment space, the media space, the entrepreneurial space, but are also holding down that mommy role with her mini tribe. So for me, that is what it's all about. I think I really have been wanting to solidify my name within the entertainment space and within the business space. But I think now it's time that the successful, as Kabelo said, that career success, now that it's kind of running itself quite safely, I think I'd like to say, now it's time for me to back it up and be able to have that balance. Before, I didn't think I was able to balance it, but being able to talk to such role models for me is showing me that, okay, there are ways around it. It is possible.
Well, they haven't just done it. They've excelled. And we've got so many shining lights of what women can do, sitting right on this couch. Every day in our studios, we get to meet these incredible women. To those haters, to the naysayers, to the people, and you've got to swim upstream. I understand that. What do you say to drown out that voice?
Yes. Well, I think for me the one thing is I've never really been fazed by gossip and chitter-chatter. I've always been very much focused and I've never really got into those conversations. So I think the one thing I would say is for what I've done is I've always just remained focused on what I wanted and where I was going. And also just sometimes working quietly alone, so that we don't have to shout out what it is we're doing and what we're working on and what we want to achieve, because then people kind of they want to give their opinions. People like to talk. So I think it's very much just staying focused, and then also like Pailisa said, surrounding yourself with like-minded women, building a tribe around you that helps you, gives you tips on the daily, because that's when you have the challenges. It's like kid's sick, have a meeting, what do I do? How do I balance this? And it's nice to be able to just connect with someone and say, this is happening. Okay, so why don't you do this? Just to have that like-minded women and community around you to support you and advise you as you...
Because as much as history doesn't tell us, you're not the first woman to excel in business or in politics or in another career and have children.
It's either your circle is uplifting you or...
Exactly.
And I actually wanted to find out from the ladies, you spoke about mom guilt earlier. I get like sibling guilt or like family guilt where I'm missing birthday parties already, I'm missing funerals, I'm missing weddings. I can't imagine missing a ballet recital. How do you handle that?
I think it comes to priorities. What's important? Because there's so many, my son is in high school right now, so every week there's something important that's happening. So you really have to sit back, look at the term plan and say, okay, I can't miss that, but that gran can go to, or that, dad can go to. You can't be there everything. It's just impossible.
And this creates special moments for the rest of the family as well. But it's
they're happy to step in.
Effort. Okay, I'm going to end off with one thing for you, Marlene, because I heard about your Mrs. SA Dear Bella National Sanitary Pad Drive. As a father of a daughter, every child in this country should be receiving free sanitary products every day. Can we just say that, please? How can we help you?
So we're incredibly excited. As you know, our finalists raise funds for our official charities on a yearly basis, and it's a strong pillar of Mrs. South Africa is giving back. And last year we raised about 400,000 rand. Wow. And part of that went to Women for Women, and their focus is obviously period poverty, and they took hands with Dear Bella, which is a cause close to our first princess, Roxy, her heart. And they managed to deliver sanitary pads to about 25 organizations nationally, including correctional facilities, schools, high schools, everywhere from the Western Cape, Limpopo, Mpumalanga, KZN, and in Gauteng, everywhere from Soweto to Shoshanguve, and that's been happening over the month of August. And this year, our finalists will once again be raising funds for our charities, soccer and cancer, taking hands with our headline partner, the Pangela Group, and making a difference. And they have big shoes to fill, building up to crowning on the 11th of November.
I love it, and I love the fact that this show offers women a gateway to find themselves again, connect with their passion, their calling, and go out there and make their mark on the world.
It's been the best thing.
Absolutely love it. While this always is a bit of a lesson in privilege for me, just take into consideration that so many young girls aren't even getting to school because of period poverty. There are things that you can do every day that don't require you to change the whole system. Just help one person, help one girl child realize that she can have it all. She can have a family, she can have a career, and she can absolutely crush it like these ladies. I don't want to say Happy Women's Month because there's not a huge amount to be happy about in terms of what women go through in this country, but stay strong and thank you and enjoy the rest of Women's Month because you've earned it. Thank you so much to all of you for being a part of the conversation.
I feel like clapping.
Let's clap. Let's clap. There we go. Yeah.
That was such a great discussion. What a wonderful panel. And I can imagine, as women, you're juggling a career and a family, and it can be challenging, even more so when you're constantly told that your body, that body clock is ticking, time is ticking, there's that pressure. And as frustrating as it can be nowadays to find your place in the world with everything going on, being a mother should be a choice you are proud to make, not one you are forced into.
I mean, the one question I always ask is, why should women have to choose a path? Why is it frowned upon to care about, your career, your career first? Put that first and then lead with that and then run with everything else after that. Katy Perry actually has some motivation for us this morning, and this is what she had to say.
She says, it's okay to be proud of hard-earned success. There is no shame in being a boss.
You can be a boss, you can be dynamic, you can be all the things that you want to be because you're that girl. You're a queen. You're a boss queen. It's beautiful. Hopefully those words are going to take you, and you are going to take them and run with them.
Oh, you can make my day.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's for Men, enriched with triple glycerine for 48-hour moisture and no stickiness. New look Ingram's. Your skin, your brave.
Introducing new Ingram's Sensitive Range to gently nourish skin.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Introducing new Panado Pediatric Syrup 5ml sachets. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. Time to take a slightly different turn now. Well, albeit earlier we spoke about juggling career and being a mom. Well, this next segment is for those moms who are trying to balance it all. And with every child comes a journey of teething. And when we have the necessary knowledge, we can take on that phase in our child's life with confidence. It's going to be tricky, but there are ways that you can ease the pain. And joining us to discuss the do's and don'ts of teething is pediatrician Anisa Vahed. Anisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me here this morning.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure. And this is quite pertinent. So my amazing sister has got a 10-month-old baby who is just so gorgeous for words, but she is struggling with her little teeth. You can see how painful it is. And I can remember it with my two kids. It's awful because you want to be able to help them and it just feels like there is so little that you can do. Maybe you can explain to us what is going on and how the baby experiences teething. What's happening in their little bodies?
So, as much as it's frustrating for the little ones, it can be super frustrating even for the parents.
Yeah, for sure.
I know I'm still in the thick of it with my 18-month-old. And essentially, what tends to happen is that they get very itchy gums. They're permanently sticking their hands in their gums, rubbing their ears and rubbing their mouths. They're always drooling. You'll find they'll start kind of getting a bit of a rash around the cheeks.
Rosy cheeks always,
rosy cheeks, and then weirdly enough, they'll develop a nappy rash in the mix of it, and a bit of frequent loose stools. They'll totally go off their food, so parents panic, they're not eating. And so I always say
in the mouth.
Everything in the mouth, and they're trying to gnaw mom's hands and everything. And what they can actually get is also a bit of a low-grade temperature. So what I always tell my parents, listen, if they've got extreme symptoms, so if they're inconsolably crying, if they're having a temperature of more than 38, it's not teething. Something else is going on. So then rather just chat to your pediatrician, go and actually look for something else to kind of try and manage it.
And I joke about this with all the peds, but it's amazing how quickly things can escalate. I always remember it being, oh, it's just a sniffle. Okay, you're in hospital.
Yes.
There was no, like, middle ground, and that temperature is a big thing, and I think that's all parents are just absolutely terrified that the child is going to 39, 40, you know, but there is a reason why we are so nervous about that, because that when it can become damaging. We talk about the irritation, frustration. Just imagine you had a toothache.
Yes.
You know exactly what that feels like. Babies, we can only give them limited treatment. How effective is paracetamol in helping young ones with teething?
So paracetamol is actually recommended as first-line drug treatment, according to the WHO. And what's amazing about it is it's quick, it's effective. So you give it within 30, it works within 30 minutes. It peaks at about an hour. And if you actually use it correctly and use the correct dosing, it actually works amazingly enough. And on top of it working with pain, it actually manages the fever. So if you're actually kind of giving it regularly, it'll actually be quite effective.
It balances things out, and because it's safe safe to use. Obviously, you follow the instructions on the pack. That's why we've got it. And luckily, the kids love it as well.
Yes,
It tastes really great in the right form. Do's and don'ts. There are a million kind of, I would imagine some of them not true, old wives' tales, things that can help, things that can't. So what shouldn't we do?
So what shouldn't we do? So a big thing that I kind of always say is that if you're looking at other kinds of forms of medication, that you go to the shops and there's over-the-counter medications, the teething gels are there's a lot of side effects in some of those ingredients. So you've got to be a bit wary of what you're going to be getting, what you're putting into your child. The other thing is with those teething gels, they can actually numb the throat. So they quickly wash away because you're trying to numb it. Kids swallow it, it numbs the back of their throat and makes it hard to swallow and becomes a choking hazard. Other things, teething toys. So you've got to be a bit careful because those sharp teeth can bite very quickly into those. So those old school, exactly, they'll break off little pieces. Those old school little teething toys with liquids, they can actually drink that and that becomes toxic. And then obviously, as you mentioned, the old wives' tales, those teething necklaces. So in the child health field, we actually deem that as a huge danger. We're completely saying that's not safe, just because of the strangulation, and also because those teeth can actually bite into it and they can inhale or swallow that actual bead. So we actually say if you're going to choose to do it, rather wrap it around kind of softly and very kind of loosely around an ankle or a wrist, and rather actually when they're going to sleep, rather just take it off.
There is a reason why every ped that I've ever met has recommended Panado as a starting point. Let's start with that. And of course, if the temperature rises or if those, as you say, those symptoms persist and get to the extreme, speak to your doctor. Thank you so much. Good luck with your 18-month-old baby as well, in the thick of it there. I think understanding what your baby is experiencing when teething is very important, so you can relate to them. It's tough, especially when it could potentially be the key to soothing that pain or the symptoms that come along with it. There are answers available to us.
Being a parent can be challenging, but stepping out is when things get real complicated. That's why new Panado Pediatric Syrup 5 ml sachets are here to make the job easier. They're really convenient to pack and easy to use, so you're always prepared for pain and fever, anytime, anywhere. Panado, a dose of care.
Thank you very much for that, Graham. Time for us to take a look at your 7 o'clock update on the news headlines. We start off here in South Africa, where crystal meth with a street value of some 236 million rand has been intercepted by SARS customs officers at OR Tambo International Airport in Ekurhuleni on the East Rand. The palleted cargo weighing 785 kilograms was destined for Australia. The Hawks were summoned for the detection and seizure of the goods, as well as further investigation. SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetter has commended customs officers for halting the dispatch of the drugs. Now, in March 2021, Western Cape Police seized cocaine on a fishing vessel near Saldanha Bay with more than R500 million. Staying here in South Africa and maybe looking at some news that's got to do with the globe as well in general, some of the world's largest travel companies have signed a statement urging the South African government to end trophy hunting. The firms, which include Booking.com, Expedia and TripAdvisor, say they want South Africa's tourism industry to be more wildlife friendly. A fortnight ago, a survey by the charity World Animal Protection revealed that more than 80% of international tourists and more than 70% of South Africans wish to see an end to trophy hunting here. In international news, the American Space Agency is counting down to the liftoff of its giant new moon rocket, the Space Launch System, the SLS. It's the most powerful vehicle ever developed by NASA and will be the foundation of its Artemis project, which aims to put people back on the lunar surface after a 50-year absence. Now, the uncrewed rocket is timed to go up from the Kennedy Space Center at 1:30 in the afternoon, South African time, and the SLS will loop around the moon before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean in six weeks' time. That's exciting, certainly something to look out for. And meanwhile, in Africa, Angola has held a state funeral for ex-President José Eduardo dos Santos in the capital, Luanda, after his death in Spain in July. Several African leaders, among them South Africa's President Cyril Ramaphosa and Portugal's President, were in attendance. And his death sparked a political row after his daughter, Chize dos Santos, opposed holding the funeral in Angola. Dos Santos was a veteran of the Independence War and a dominant figure in Angolan political history, having ruled the country for 38 years. Now, in a few weeks' time, South Africans will celebrate Heritage Day by remembering the many cultures and commemorating and celebrating those at that make up the population of this country. Traditionally, there'll be braais all around the country, be it kebabs, lamb chops, pork, chicken or steak, you name it. And of course, pap and vors, a classic here. And with this in mind comes the news. The 23-year-old Welcome Magozo of Mulazi in KZN was crowned winner of the 30th Championship Bodyweight competition this weekend. An independent panel of the SA Chefs Association judged that Magoso's recipe was the best of the thousands submitted. And Magoso said, I quote, "I can't believe I won on my first try. It hasn't sunk in yet. I didn't think I'd win, but as the competition progressed, I was named a top 10 finalist. I started to believe that I could make it." Oh, stunning, man. Second and third place went to Christian Rudd from Craddock, Eastern Cape, and Delano Jasper from Wellington in the Western Cape, respectively. Apart from bragging rights, Magoso, a senior meat technician, also bagged himself 50,000 rand, and he drove off with an SUV worth some 650,000 rand. Not bad. Not a bad way to commemorate Heritage Month at all. That's where we leave it for now. The next update in just over an hour. Here's Graham with a look at your sport.
Thanks so much, Tabiso. Drama aplenty on and off the field in our cup action this weekend. Let's start with the wins for Mamelodi Sundowns, Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates and AmaZulu. It means they're all progressing to the semi-finals of the MTN 8. So Pirates defeated Royal AM 2-1 thanks to goals from Vincent Pule and Tabiso Monyane. And AmaZulu, they needed extra time to beat Cape Town City 2-1. The winning goal coming from Lehlonanolo Majoro. Then yesterday, Kaizer Chiefs, they beat Stellenbosch 4-3 on penalties, but the clash had to be delayed by 30 minutes due to traffic congestion and then fans forcing entry into the Dani Craven Stadium. Then Sundowns, they overcame their traditional Tshwane rival SuperSport 2-0 with 2 late goals. Then staying with football, but a little further afield, Liverpool, they equalled the Premier League's record win with a 9-0 demolition of Bournemouth. So the Reds equalled Manchester United's 9-0 wins against Ipswich back in '95 and Southampton in 2021, as well as Leicester's thrashing of Southampton in 2019. An incredible feat there. Elsewhere, Erling Haaland, well, he is cashing in. He got his first hat-trick for Man City, and that inspired the defending champions to come back from 2-0 down at half-time to beat Crystal Palace 4-2 in the end. Then Arsenal, they maintained their perfect start with a dramatic 2-1 win against the spirited Fulham. Then 10-man Chelsea, they held on to beat Leicester 2-1. Then Manchester United's revival continued with a 1-0 win over Southampton. And Harry Kane took another step up. In fact, he is third on the all-time scorers list in the Premier League. He put 2 in the back of the net as Spurs beat Forest 2-0 yesterday. Then on to Formula 1, more dominance. World champion Max Verstappen blew away the rest of his rivals with a commanding performance at the Belgian Grand Prix to take a significant step towards his second successive driver's title as Red Bull, they celebrated a 2-1 with Sergio Perez. So Verstappen has now won 9 races this season, coming home 17 seconds clear of the pack, with race pole sitter Carlos Sainz finishing 3rd for Ferrari. His teammate Charles Leclerc, he struggled in the other Ferrari, starting in 15th and finished in 5th. Then Lewis Hamilton, he recorded his first DNF of the season. That was after colliding with old friend and foe Fernando Alonso. Then we return to the road now for an incredible performance yesterday. Tete Morena Dejana won the Comrades Marathon at only the 2nd time of asking. So the 34-year-old, who finished 50th in the 2019 race, lived up to his pre-race promise that he would ace the 2022 Ultra Marathon, and he reached that finish line in 5 hours, 30 minutes and 38 seconds. A great time. Then controversial Russian runner Alexandra Morozova, she finished the women's race on top. Morozova, who went to court to keep her place in the race, came home at Durban's Moses Mabhida Stadium in a time of 6 hours, 12 minutes and 42 seconds to improve on her previous 2 runners-up positions. But to everyone who just finished the Comrades Marathon yesterday, Wayne, you especially, congratulations, an incredible performance. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's see how the sport on the roads is looking. Let's get into the traffic.
Thank you, Graham. And we start with traffic in the Western Cape, Cape Town. Now, there's a stationary vehicle on the N2 inbound on Jan Smuts Drive and the emergency lanes blocked. Please approach with caution. Moving to Durban in Hilton, there's an ongoing roadworks at the moment on the N3 bi-directional at Hilton. Now, the left lanes are closed. Please drive carefully and make sure to add extra travel time to your journey this morning. And in Johannesburg, Olifantsfontein, there's an accident on the R21 southbound. It's after Olifantsfontein Road. Now the left lane is blocked. Please approach with caution. That's where I leave your traffic for now. Let's take another look at your weather. And we start off with some news. Pakistan is appealing for further international assistance as floods devastate the country, leaving people searching for higher, drier ground. The death toll from the historic monsoon rains has reached 1,033, with 119 lives lost in the last 24 hours. The National Disaster Management Authority says now some 33 million people have so far been hit by the floods, about 15% of the country's population. Floods are not uncommon in Pakistan, but local officials say the rains were different this time. They were more than anything that's ever been seen before, like floods of biblical proportions, one said. The country's climate change minister called for the situation, and I quote, a climate-induced humanitarian disaster of epic proportions, end of quote. Officials blame climate change for the devastation, but some say poor local government planning has also exacerbated the impact of the past, with buildings often erected in areas prone to seasonal flooding. Now, bringing it back home, we're going to take a look at those sunrise views that you share with us. First up is Adri Elise out from Montclair in Durban, sharing this morning's sky over as you can see in the city in the distance. And then Azalea from Pearly Beach shared this vibrant photo of the orange hues in the sky just outside of her home. And this is starting her morning off with some coffee. What a beautiful view. And then Kitty shared this one with us as she starts her Monday morning watching the waves crash on the beach as the sun starts to rise and lighting up the sky over the ocean in Jeffreys Bay. And finally, we had this one sent in from Maureen. This was taken from her balcony in Durbanville, showing off her view with the sun beaming through the fluffy clouds. Thank you for that, Maureen. If you would love to share a sunrise view with us, please send those photos to our WhatsApp line. That number is 063 408 8863. Let's get into your temperatures. Polokwane, your low is 11, your high 29. Mbombela, 12 with a high of 36. It is partly cloudy in Pretoria, 12 with a high of 27. Johannesburg, 11 with a high of 25. Mahikeng, sunny, a low of 9, a high of 30. Klerksdorp, 7, reaching a high of 29. Kimberley, 2, 23. Bloemfontein, a cool start of 0 with a high of 24. Rain in Richards Bay, 13 is your low, 23 your high. Pietermaritzburg, 6 with a high of 20, as well as rainy conditions in Durban, 11 is your low, 21 your high. Moving to Mthatha, 3 is your low, 19 your high. East London, 9, reaching a high of 20. Cradock, -1 is your low, 18 your high, with a 40% chance of rain. Gqeberha, 10, reaching a high of 16. Rainy conditions in George, 8 is your low, 13 your high. Cape Town, 10, reaching a high of 15. Rainy conditions in Worcester, 1 is your low, 14 your high. Sutherland, a cool start of -4 and a high of 11. And Uppington, sunny, a low of 6 and a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where I leave your weather for now. We'll have a final update for you shortly after 8.
We love seeing your weather pictures, so thank you so much. Keep them coming. Of course, it gives us a window into your part of South Africa. So we've been having a little bit of fun with you guys, showing you some pictures and getting you to hopefully get into that holiday mood. And if you're in need of some inspiration on your kind of places to visit, then you're in the right place. So on Friday, we showed you this particular photo and asked you to guess where it is. Easy, right? Okay, if you stand a bit further back, it is a little bit easier. There is something iconic about that, but let's find out what the people had to say. So Candace Horn-Overmeyer said, Table Mountain, beautiful all year round, and in winter it transforms to the mountain with a white tablecloth covered in snow. I love that. Malifu said, Cape Town, the Table Mountains. Sivoyi Seasware says, I think it's the mountains of Cape Town. I'm not sure. Oh, this one seems to be a bit of a conundrum. Jeremy saying, Ceres, the beautiful Boerland. Geronimo said, Namakwaland, with Daisies with Gravel Road. Coach Jay from Moyersburg. And then Enrico saying Table Mountain and Cape Town Stadium in the background. Kayla saying Table Mountain, Cape Town. Oh, you guys are kind of halfway there. It is a mountain, but it isn't the one shaped like a table. Let's find out where our mystery destination is as the picture becomes clearer. It is the Drakensberg, guys. Look at that. It is beautiful. If you've been lucky enough to go there, it is an image and an experience of a lifetime. And this is obviously looking at the beautifully snow-capped winter season for this beautiful part of the world. So a bit of background. So this World Heritage Site forms a majestic semicircular border, if you will, between KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, obviously, and then the inland mountain kingdom of Lesotho. Look at that. Visiting the Drakensberg is an absolute must for everyone, as it's a true beauty to behold. It's mind-blowing. There's some amazing activities, and the sightseeing experiences for the whole family are unmatched. If you've ever done the chain ladder, or if you've seen that part of the world, it's life-changing. And the beautiful thing is, it's accessible, so much more so than you know. It's time to show you a new photo now and hopefully get you inspired to go and visit somewhere else. Oh, wow. Actually, I think I might know this. I might know this. No, I have absolutely no idea. If you are just getting an inkling of a clue, let us know. We'd love for you to share your guesses with us on the Expresso Facebook page. It's absolutely amazing. If you've actually been there, maybe you can share your experience. If you think you know where it is, then share those guesses with us on our social media platforms. And if you've always wanted to visit the Drakensberg, then maybe this is the time to tick it off your bucket list. And it's going to happen sooner than you think. So starting next week, from the 5th of September up until the 11th, Short Left Travel Week is here, and they are offering massive discounts, up to 50% off on local holidays. So please keep your eye on shortleft.co.za for all of those details, because there are some amazing choices, and you can book now and travel later so you can get your December holidays sorted as well. Good luck.
Your generosity can ignite a love for reading amongst our youth. Share your homegrown story. See Cadbury Story Edition packs. There's a glass and a half in everyone.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it. Yes, it is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso. We're starting a brand new week on a feel-good note, and we're joined by a bright spark this morning, okay? Scintilla, the name she goes by, yes, and she's just released her debut album. It's titled Fables. It's a beautifully blunt album, unafraid to touch on a whole spectrum of topics regarding love. You hear subjects of loss, navigating relationships with men, infidelity, and learning how to love being alone come through so beautifully in this project. It's stunning. It's deep. It really is deep. It gets you thinking. And she joins us on the couch this morning to unpack it all. But first, let's take a look at some of her work.
Do you still think about me when you're away?
everybody, let us show Scintilla some love. A very warm Expresso welcome to Scintilla. Welcome, Scintilla.
Thank you so much.
It's so good to have you here.
It's so good to be here. Thank you for that great intro.
Man, you know what? Your music, there's something so soothing and so calming about your voice, right? But then add to that the really powerful type of songs that you write. I think it's really just so magical. But even more magical, I imagine, would be how you came up with your stage name, Scintilla. Tell us more.
Yeah, I was like 14 at the time. I found the word scintilla, I think on Tumblr or something, and it really like resonated with me, the bright spark aspect of it. So yeah, I created like a blog from it, and then it started becoming like my persona on the internet. And then when I started making music, it felt like the right name to take on for that. It just made sense. So it means a tiny bright spark.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of a way to, I kind of thought of it as like me being a spark in like an ecosystem of other sparks as well. So it was like a way to acknowledge my own light, but also encourage other people to see it in themselves as well.
But you're very explosive too, because your music has been, referred to as being deeply sharp, very introspective, very honest as well. What is it that sort of sets you on fire? What lights up that fire for you, Scintilla?
I guess it's just storytelling, and an expression of myself as well. Especially with Fables, I think it was me just saying things that maybe I didn't say in the moment, that it actually happened, but I was able to express really freely when we were making the song as well.
Yeah. I know that you touch on a range of subjects there. I mean, you speak about love, you speak about men and interacting and engaging with them in relationships, you speak about infidelity. I'm tempted to say that this isn't a heartbreak album, but if it's not a heartbreak album, then what is it? What are you saying?
I think it's just a recollection. I think it's literally just looking past on a relationship and...
Reflections.
Yeah, it's just a reflection of it all. Yeah, I don't think it's... I think the way it ends as well, I think it's honest in the fact of it's sad to let someone go, but it's also nice as in it's kind of empowering. When you're alone, it's like you haven't lost anything. You still have yourself, and I feel like that's the vibe of the whole album. It isn't sad.
It's a nice take out to know that, being able to build and form a relationship with yourself at the end of what might seem like a tragedy, right? Scintilla, okay, so here is another area where you are incredibly inspiring and impressive too. You went into a studio only trying to record a single. So I imagine you wanted to just record the one song about, oh, we broke up, it's sad, and I'm so sad. Now you've come out with a whole album, my love.
Yeah, that was so impromptu. I met my producer, he co-produced the album with me, Midnight Hubris, at a random studio session. And then I checked out his music, and he has this really great song called Do You Remember? And I was like, please, can we make a song like this? That was also at a point where I wasn't making music with other people. All the music I was making was on my phone.
Solo.
I was producing on my phone as well, so everything was very sheltered.
Yes.
So meeting him was super cool. And then we came in just for one song.
Yeah.
And then he just gave me a bunch of beats. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
I'm ready to put some vocals on them.
I just came home and I just started writing
I love that. But I think that's the beauty of collaboration, right? Is that somehow it unlocks certain areas in you that and doors that you never even knew existed. This is really fantastic. Well, thank you so much for pouring your heart out in this project. I think it's a really stunning one. We certainly can't wait to have you step on the Expresso stage and perform it for everybody at home. Scintilla's going absolutely nowhere, and you can connect on Facebook. Expresso Morning Show SABC3 as she goes along. She's got stunning performances lined up.
Oh, I love that. Bright, empowered, talented, and beautiful. We are here for that. Now, a little bit earlier, we asked you to help Zoe feel exactly like that this morning and help her choose between two golfer dresses for today's show. I dig them.
They are cool.
They're cute. They're bright, they pop, and they do signify change in season, which we are here for.
We are here for the changing of season, and like a game of pool, are we going for stripes or solids? That is the question, and let's see what you had to say on social media.
All right, Cheryl saying good morning, Expresso team. Option 1. Then again, she looks great in anything, of course.
Thank you,
Have a beautiful
Cheryl.
day, so you can go with any. Linda says, good morning, Expresso team. Definitely 1. Okay.
Okay. Audrey says white and red stripes. There we go.
Okay.
Surprise says a striped golfer dress with the white and red stripes. Arlene says, good morning, team. Option 1 suits Zoe best. May you guys have a blessed and warm day. Thank you for that.
Man.
So it looks like
Russ saying striped golfer dress with white and red stripes for the gorgeous Zoe. See if we can squeeze in a few more, but I'm seeing a dominant winner here this morning. It's not you, it's us, okay? Striped, you have won the day. How do you feel about that?
very excited. Of course, I've been rocking around in my gym clothes. I might still stay in them because we've got more fitness segments coming up with Leisha Fitness, so don't go anywhere. But of course, the minute I can jump into this cute golfer dress, I'm excited for it.
You've earned the right for that this morning. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing, as always, spot on. Whether it's glam and fitted or effortless and relaxed, you can find your favorite summer dress in every style and length to suit you at Woolworths, in-store, online, or on the amazing app, or on a Zozo, which you'll see in just a moment.
New Revlon Color Stay Matte Like Crayon. Play it up. Bold matte color goes on as easy as a crayon. Feels barely there. Super soft, 12 rocket poppin' shades. New Revlon Color Stay Matte Like Crayon. Wanna play?
Do you own your skin? Do you wear it bravely, even when others try to dim its glow? Does it represent your strength, your heritage, or does it express your brave and unconditional love? New Look Ingrams, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Gynagard, feminine hygiene mastered. Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It's Expresso on S3. And while we were on the subject of women's fashion before the break, and let's also now shift our attention across to women's health. As women grow, their bodies develop and it also changes. However, there comes a time in a woman's life in their more mature years where women are more prone to experiencing dryness and discomfort down below. Now, ensuring that they are equipped with the knowledge of how to maintain good feminine hygiene during that time is also essential. Now, general practitioner Dr. Ramonde Patensha is here to tell us everything we need to know. Doctor, it's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
What is it about older women that as they get older, they get embarrassed to talk about what's happening down there?
I don't think it's just older women. I think
it's all women.
It's pretty much everybody, regardless of gender, actually. So I think the situation is quite different for older women because it's not so much focused on reproductive reproduction itself, and most of our health is really geared towards women in their reproductive years. So they have a much bigger chance of falling through the gaps, I think, and that's maybe what makes it harder to actually start talking about these things.
And it is, I think as women, that's the last thing you want to talk about is, feeling dry or things not being the same or normal down there. But dryness is one of those things that are common, especially as you get older. I know there are elements of menopause playing a role, but also certain medications that women take that affect their dryness. Why is it so important for ladies to use I don't want to say a soap, but a product that is soap-free and fragrance-free?
Right, so I think thinking of the Afrikaans word beginsel, but the principle to start with is that if you're going to use anything, then rather make sure that it's not abrasive in any way. So the vaginal environment is basically like the inside lining of our mouth. It's not skin, it's not a thick protective barrier at all. So we really need to keep it as happy and as healthy as possible. So that means nothing too acidic, nothing like vinegar and lemon juice, even if you're a natural person. Soap in itself can be quite medicinal, sort of abrasive, and can disturb that very, very sensitive pH balance that one needs to maintain for health.
I know if I have any issues when it comes to, feminine hygiene in any way, my mom's always someone I can phone, and she always has these homemade remedies and tales. And in your experience as a doctor, what are some of the common mistakes women do when they do try and look after themselves?
So mums are great, but they don't really know everything, unfortunately. My mother's going to hold this against me.
Mine too.
But I think it's a misconception that we actually need to even do anything. The vagina is a self-cleaning organ, so it actually knows what to do to keep itself healthy. Anything we do should be supportive and it shouldn't be damaging. So even though we think, well, we can ingest it, it's vinegar or lemon juice or plain water, it might not be such a good idea. We want to keep the organisms, the good guys, who are meant to be living inside the vaginal area, as healthy as possible, as happy, so that they keep the other bad guys in check. And if we disturb anything, that unfortunately goes out of balance.
And I know we did put the topic on older women, but you said this is all women. We get embarrassed, we don't always talk about this. But why is it so important for all ages, whether you're older, younger, even a teen starting out with your menstruation, to really focus and be deliberate with your feminine hygiene?
That's a really good question. I think it's something, because it's internal and we don't see it, unless we notice what's happening in our bodies and actually mention it to someone who might be in a position to actually guide us, we're going to run into some trouble. And I don't think we can rely on generational knowledge or family knowledge. We need to actually find someone we trust as a medical practitioner to guide us through that process and ask questions. It's not something to be ashamed about at all. Yeah.
And you know what? I've been enjoying these GynaGuard conversations we've been having, because we are talking about everything.
Yes.
We are not, skipping any of the topics. But why would a product like GynaGuard be ideal for any woman that wants to focus on good feminine hygiene?
Right. Well, if you're going to use something as a cleanser, then it is pH balanced. It's not abrasive, and it would give you some control. So I'm talking in the context there of possibly post-coital, so after sex, cleansing. That, I think, is the biggest benefit. And for all of those reasons, it's not disruptive in any manner. But I think also the biggest thing that I want to say this morning is just to say that if there is a discharge, if there is an odor, if there isn't anything, don't assume that it's something bad and something that needs to be treated. Go and see someone, get some guidance, get some tests. They're freely available. Get feedback. You'll have peace of mind and you'll know what the best step forward is. And if something like GynaGuard gets recommended, you've got peace of mind and you know what you're doing, and you're picking up all of those other things that we might not otherwise pick up.
Well, you are speaking peace of mind, and I think a lot of us want that because we're not always sure, we're not always comfortable to have these conversations, but there are many, many options available. Doctor, thank you for joining us today.
Pleasure, thank you.
And there you go. It is important to make sure that you are proactive in maintaining good personal hygiene. And, you know, we are super excited to also announce that our next Lucky GynaGuard competition winner has been selected. Now, let's get into it. Let's say big congratulations to Maleba Molohari. Good morning.
Morning, ma'am.
Oh, I love this. You know what? When we asked what viewers love about the GynaGuard range for that post-workout feminine hygiene, this is what you had to say. You said the proper hygiene that I get from GynaGuard gives me the confidence that I need, and we have decided, Maleba, to make you the winner. How does it feel to be the winner?
I just feel excited. Yo, I'm extremely happy. Yo.
Oh, well, we are happy for you.
Thank you.
And why is it so important for you to follow a feminine hygiene routine?
I think following feminine hygiene is very much important to us ladies to attain our own confidence in our own skin.
That is right. And you know what? It is amazing that you've shared that with us. And that is why you are the winner of that 1,000 Rand GynaGuard hamper. And of course, if you want to stand a chance to win a GynaGuard hamper to the value of 1,000 Rand weekly, simply let us know what you think the most common mistakes are that women make when it comes to their personal hygiene. But you can simply reply to the competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter pages. And don't forget to include that hashtag GynaGuard and hashtag feminine hygiene. The competition will be closing the 19th of September, so you've got time to enter, and those T's and C's can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
GynaGuard, feminine hygiene mastered.
Oh, well, listen, we are doing everything today from talking about feminine hygiene to putting the spotlight on feminine and, in fact, female workouts. And when it comes to a solid gym workout, it shouldn't be determined by the number of minutes spent in the gym. What you should be aiming for is focused minutes, completing reps and sets and effectively and efficiently with the correct rest time, something I think a lot of us forget about. And the most important thing is good form. Now, you can exercise, and we have our exercise guru here, Lisha Fitness. She's back with us to ensure that we get the best bang for our buck when it comes to an intense workout. And I see you've got some resistance bands.
I do. Today we're going to have a bit of toning in all the areas that most women want to work out with.
That's, of course, the booty area.
The booty, the thighs, under the arm, the core, you know, everywhere to make people feel beautiful.
Okay, well, can I grab one of these?
You are having that band. That's a light band. We have different band resistances, which is your light band, your medium, and your heavy. Extra heavy, but we're not giving you that today.
No, not today. And you know what I love about a resistance band is, especially if you travel a lot, you're not sure where you're going to be staying in terms of does it have a gym, you can do so many workouts with this.
So many workouts in the gym and at home.
At home.
So for the first one, we want to target the side area. A lot of ladies do have a bit of a dimple, you know, when you go to the beach. So we're going to pop it round our toes, just like that. Okay? And you're going to keep it just in there. Now you want to keep your feet shoulder width apart so that we create some resistance in the glutes. Keeping in a bit of a half squat, you're going to step to the left and bring the other foot in and step to the right. And you're going to keep repeating this movement. You can either stay in one spot or you can go for reps. You can go 10, 15 reps to the left and 10, 15 reps to the right.
Depending on how much space you have.
How much space you have, and obviously if you want to stay in one spot or not. So do you feel that side's working there?
It is burning. The booty is burning.
Booty is burning. Right, let's go for 2 more. Nice. Great. Dimples are working. Now we're going to take that band and we're going to put it around our wrists and you're going to hold a fist. Great. We're going to work the upper body while also working the legs. This time we want to target more of the inner thigh. So I want you to keep your toes slightly pointed out and you're going to open this up 1, open it up twice, and then you're going to squat 1, Good. And 2.
There we
Keep
go.
your core nice and tight while you're doing this as well, because you obviously want to activate that core. Lovely. And 2 squats. Good. And let's go for 1 more. 1 and 2. And squat. And squat.
There we go.
Great.
I love that
Knee
you
to
always
shoulders.
do these combinations.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you can do combinations or you can do one area at a time, but we want to have a bit of fun, so. Right, next what we're going to do is we're now going to have a seat on the floor. And you're going to wrap that band around your ankles. Okay, also a bit of a combination. We're going to start with the band, depending on your core strength. The lower you go, obviously, the more difficult it becomes. The higher you are, the easier. So we're going to keep it there. We're going to open it for 5 reps. 3, good, 4, 5. We're going to drop it down. Side tap for the side of the areas. 2, 3, good, 4, 5, all the way to 10. 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to bring it up again. If your neck gets sore, you can hold it behind your head. And again, 5 reps. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Drop it back down. Side tapping those ankles. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.
You get the burn here along the side.
Burn along the sides, and because the band is up here and we're opening and closing, it's full core work as well as running all the way down the thighs and into the glutes.
Oh, well, Lisha, I love that you brought the booty band along. You gave us 3 easy exercises. That's a little bit of a combination, something you can do at gym and at home, and you really don't need much other than this band and your own strength.
Bands are honestly one of my most favorite pieces of equipment, and you get longer bands, shorter bands.
You get different bands for different workouts and muscle groups. Now, Lisha's not going anywhere, of course. Stay up to date with her Lisha Fitness. She's also got a summer program that she's going to tell us about a little bit later.
Yes.
It's all about getting you ready for summer in a couple of weeks, so you do not want to miss out on that. We'll see you in just a bit. I feel like I need to flick this at you. There we go.
Defeat your mucus monster, Mucofizz. Loosen mucus and phlegm for clearer airways. Brought to you by Pharmacodynamics.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Time to continue, if you will, this amazing conversation that we are having today about empowering people in the workplace, but in particular, women. And we spoke a little bit earlier about women in the workplace. Now let's chat about that workplace itself. And boy, how that landscape is changing. We're going to focus on mental wellness through robust research and aiming to proactively aid employee mental well-being. It's an organization called Mindful Revolution. I love the sound of that. Mindful Revolution uses the latest science and research to help equip employees with tips, tools and practices that allow them to thrive and engage in all aspects of life, leading to happier, healthier and less anxious individuals. Wow, doesn't that sound amazing? And joining us from Mindful Revolution is lead content creator and facilitator, someone you might recognize, Grant Nash, who will be sharing some tips and tools that'll encourage this proactive mental wellness. Scream it from the rooftops, my brother. Scream it. First of all, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. Good to be here. Thank you.
And you really are on a new frontier.
Sure.
And when we think about, it's weird how the last few years have shaken everything up.
Yeah.
Some of us were a little bit future-proofed. Some of us were maybe a bit further ahead. Some of us were way behind.
Sure.
Organizations have had a wake-up call.
Absolutely.
Now, previously, it would feel like that the wellness journey was all on you.
Yeah.
Okay? It's not your company's responsibility to make you happy. That you do on your own time, on your own turf.
That's it.
I think the last 3 years, COVID and the complete upending of the world of work have changed that. How has it changed? Why is wellness important to companies now?
Sure. Let's think 66% of employees, according to a study, a latest study, 2001, 66% of employees could be suffering from excessive stress, from depression and anxiety. 66%.
Wow.
So that goes from moving it from the bedroom to really moving it into the business, right?
Your house, yeah.
If you think about that, could be 7 out of 10 employees are struggling from excessive stress, anxiety or depression. That's a scary number, right? That's a scary number. So we have to have that conversation. Can you imagine if you owned a business, what that does to productivity, what that does to absenteeism, what that does to your profitability? Even if you don't care about the human, let's, 7 out of 10 people, that's a problem. And so it's automatically, we have to have these conversations now.
Well, let's flip the script there. If you were looking at one of your information systems and 70% of it wasn't working effectively, you would change it. If you looked at your technology, the software that you were using, and 70% of it wasn't working effectively,
correct. You'd have to do something,
change
right?
it.
100%.
So your human capital, we have discovered over the last 3 years, probably your most valuable resource that you have.
Absolutely.
How then, through the mindful revolution, and I know there is a lot that goes into this, but how do we start to shift this dynamic?
Sure. Look, and I think we sit sort of in the middle between what we would call employee assistance programs, which are psychologists, counselors, that's a very, very important part of that. And we sort of try to bridge that gap. So the best way I can describe this is you brushed your teeth this morning, right?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad, because we're sitting close to each other. Yeah. The reason why you brushed your teeth is because you understand proactive dental wellness.
Yeah.
Right? So you want to prolong the visit between you and the dentist, and so you brush your teeth. And we all do, which is great. But how many of us did something for our proactive mental wellness today?
Brush my mind. I didn't brush my mind.
Right, we didn't floss, right? And so we really have to begin to have that question. So we look at proactive ways in which we can begin to do that. We look at proactive tips, tools, conversations, practices that come before, because a lot of psychologists will say to us, when you come to me, man, you're 18 months too late. You should have come to me before that, right? We should have been doing what we were doing there, the wellness, the fitness, the proactive stuff. And so this is where we come in. We try to have these conversations, try to sit with businesses, with people, with individuals, and really just let's get into working on our mental wellness.
I love that. And if you've got a happy staff, you've got a staff that are going to stay, and that's an investment.
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, I heard a shocking number that it takes a company up to 5 years to recover from the loss of one key personnel. So let that sink in.
Yeah.
So this isn't just an emotional, warm and fuzzy feeling we're trying to promote here. This is neuroscience. There are ways that we can reprogram the brain to be more resilient, to be more compassionate, to have those kind of soft skills that our organization needs. And you guys use the HEAL method.
Yes, one of them.
Give us a bit of background.
One of them, right? So there's lots, like you say. But let's go back. Let's use this HEAL method together. Let's actually jump into it this morning, right? So let's go back 12,000 years ago. Remember 12,000 years ago, everything was out to kill us, right? Even the Hadidar. Look at me, the Hadidar would kill me, right? So we would live violent lives 12,000 years ago. So we are primed. We are neurologically primed to absolutely see danger in everything. And so Dr. Rick Hansen calls this the negativity bias. He says that we overestimate the negative and we underestimate the positive. And today that's making you unhappy because everything is out to kill you. The email from your boss, the taxi.
And you're just waiting for that bias to be proven.
Exactly, right? Everything. And we're focused on that, right? So let's look at the HEAL method quickly. H-E-A-L. H stands for have a positive experience. E for enrich it, A for absorb it, and the L is link the negative and the positive, and we're going to move the L away for a moment, right? Because that's sort of optional, that's Jedi Knight stuff. So we'll stick to the HEA, right? Okay, so H, have a positive experience. This is just notice the positive around you. Begin to notice it, it's there. Or you can create it by just remembering good times, good things. The body doesn't know the difference. Literally doesn't know the difference, right? So we have that positive experience, and then what we do is we enrich it. And we enrich it by intensifying it, by holding it. The duration is important, the multimodality of it. In other words, the feeling that you're getting really sitting with it, right? Now, those me and you do. But here's the interesting thing. Dr. Rick Hansen says we miss the third step. And the third step is like installing the software. So what you've done is you've downloaded the software on your computer, but you haven't installed it. And so installing it is absorbing it. You sit with it, and you really, he says you marinate in it, and you deliberately install it into the brain. Install that positive into the brain. And what you're now doing is you're rewriting, rewiring happiness, positivity.
I feel better just for the last 30 seconds, my brother. And I know you're a lovely human being, and that comes with the territory. But this is amazing. I'm just thinking what this could do. If this could empower an individual, imagine what this could do for your organization.
Absolutely.
I love it. Go and brush your brain, buddy. Go and brush your brain. You guys at home, don't forget to brush your mental health. And if you'd like to learn more about building a business empire where employees can thrive in the face of change, because the world is not going to stop changing, be sure to visit mindfulrevolution.io?
Yeah,
.io to find out more about the programs and their incredible initiatives. And that's not all. You could stand a chance of winning a Mindful Revolution package for your business worth 35,000 Rand. So what you got to do is head over to our social media pages and tell us, why do you think that your colleagues or your employees could benefit from a mental wellness program? And of course, include that hashtag Mindful Revolution. I think just going through that exercise alone is going to benefit you, and I think have a few light bulb moments there. But the competition closes on Wednesday, the 28th of September at 10 a.m. So go and check out those terms and conditions on expressoshow.com. Grant, you're a legend, changing the world, my friend. So good to see you again. Hopefully this has inspired you to look at your company and your employees in a different light.
Oh, well, listen, it's time to spend some time in the kitchen. If you're hearing a little bit of background ambiance, the rain has decided to come down pouring, but that's okay, because Chef Teresa, you are here, and we're about to really have some fun, because when it comes to tea time with Golden Cloud, and today we thought, why not take a mental trip to Europe? The British tradition of English high tea, it is renowned for its exquisite venues where guests can indulge in the most delectable treats and various types of tea. And the perfect high tea must include a good quiche to complement the sweet treats. And today we've decided our mini quiche Lorraine's is the perfect bowl. It fits our idea for a high tea perfectly. And Teresa, you are here to show us how to make these mini quiches.
Mini quiches, very cute. And this is a classic recipe. So yeah, very nice one. I'm going to do the pastry and you're going to do the filling.
Okay. So I see I've got quite a few eggs here that I'm assuming you want me to just give it a good mix.
Some milk for me, please. And I'm going to start on the pastry. So we're using our Golden Cloud flour for this. I'm going to put 2 cups in here. And so the pastry you can do by hand, like I'm going to do today, or you can do it in a food processor if you're in a rush or you don't feel like getting your hands dirty.
And if you do it by hand, does it take a little bit longer?
A little bit longer, but it's not too bad. It's a little bit messier, but I don't mind that. So I've got the flour here. I'm going to add a bit of salt and a bit of sugar. And then I'm going to rub in some butter. And that looks great over there.
That does look incredible.
So we're going to also add some cream cheese into the mix.
So I'll add a bit of cream cheese for you. And I mean, you are using our Golden Cloud cake flour, which also makes for a perfect quiche crust. The softness of the flour will also be your golden key to Flavor Town. There we go.
Absolutely. And quiche Lorraine is an absolute classic. So it's basically a quiche with bacon and cheese, the filling. which we love.
And of course, you can swap out the bacon if you are not feeling the pork, if you want to rather do some chicken, or perhaps you want to swap the meat out completely and rather go for some mushrooms.
You can play around and customize it.
You can do spinach and feta.
That's one of my favorites. I love it. Okay, so I'm basically just using my fingertips to rub the butter into the flour. And I always remember my home economics teacher when I was in high school saying when you're rubbing in, you mustn't have flour on your palms, it must only be your fingertips. I've never forgotten it, and now I'm always checking, but
that's a
I don't know
tip.
if it makes too much difference. But,
I did home economics. Well, at the time, they changed it to hospitality studies, and it was so much fun being in the kitchen. I actually realized that why I'm not such a great cook is because they paired you in teams.
Yeah.
So my teammate did most of the cooking, and I did the cleaning and the dishing out, and that's kind of where I like sold myself short.
Missed out a bit. No, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, basically you're going to keep going with the rubbing in until your flour resembles breadcrumbs.
Oh,
so all that flour is going to be coated in butter, and then you just bring it together with a little bit of water. So it's very, very easy.
So I see I have got the cream cheese mixed in with our milk and eggs, and we've got a variety of spices here.
Yes.
So we're going to add a little bit of some nutmeg.
Which goes beautifully with the filling, and we've also got some mustard powder, which complements the cheese very well. So
Okay.
if you're making a cheese sauce or anything like that, a bit of mustard really elevates that.
And then season it with a little bit of salt and pepper.
Yeah.
Just going to be a bit less generous with this. I tend to have a heavy hand when it comes to seasoning. And then I can add our bacon bits.
So now that's going to go into our little pastry cases.
Okay.
So what we've done is with this quiche Lorraine, you have to pre-bake the pastry because you don't want it to be all soggy when you add your filling. Okay. So you roll it out, you pop it into your muffin tray, which is great. You don't need a special little quiche tin or anything fancy. Muffin pan and you're done.
So I'm adding our toppings right now.
So we've baked those pastry shells for about 10 minutes. So you pop in your bacon, you pop in a bit of cheese, and then you can top it with the filling.
Add that there.
So it's nice and easy.
Okay, so we don't add the toppings to the quiche because, well, I say the quiche, I mean the mixture, the filling I've just made, because then you end up with all the bacon falling to the bottom.
Yeah. We have to distribute evenly. We have to make it fair, otherwise,
of course.
there'll be complaints.
Of course, and I know in the household, especially if there's kids, it needs to be even Stevens.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we just pour that in.
I'm going to pour that in for us. There we go. A little quiche
And this is great
Lorraine.
for a breakfast, for a lunch, picnic even. Really, really nice. And then once you've filled them, you bake them for about half an hour. And then you pop them out of the tray. You can put some chives on top or some fresh herbs. And then serve them warm, room temperature. Whatever you feel like.
Fantastic. Well, Teresa, it's great having you here in the studio, of course, showing us how to make our quiche Lorraines. And Golden Cloud, they have a new and exciting competition with a weekly celebration of a spring high tea. Now, 5 lucky viewers stand the chance to win, listen to this, 10,000 Rand from Golden Cloud and a Kenwood appliance to bake with their, and this is, in fact, they get to bake with it, but it's for the very best. And of course, this is available every week. Now, simply create a bake using Golden Cloud products and share a photo of your bake on the competition post on Expresso's Facebook or Twitter page, or you can simply WhatsApp that to this number. Now, it is a special one. It's 063 814 2300, and tell us what makes your highest tea celebration the best. And don't forget to include that hashtag high tea with Golden Cloud, and the entries will close at the end of September. That's the 28th of September. There are T's and C's that can be found on our website, as well as this delicious recipe of what we've just created. It's available at expressoshow.com.
That's what I needed in my life, a little coffee kick to get you going for a brand new day. It's been the most amazing Monday. Thank you so much to all of our guests and to you guys at home for contributing. We're still asking that question, career or family? We'd love to hear from you. 063-408-8863. Drop us a voice note. It's all about empowering women today as we round off Women's Month. But let's get back into those news headlines one last time and get some talking points for the day.
Thank you very much, Graham. Yes, we round off our news headlines. We take a look at that 8 o'clock update. Starting off here in South Africa, Parliament has confirmed that it has received the final report on the fire damage to the parliamentary complex. The report was compiled by the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure and covers the damage caused by the fire in January, as well as the cost estimates of the repairs. The Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure, Patricia de Lille, said earlier that it could take up to 4 years to fully restore the Parliament building, but that the construction cost could amount to R1 billion. Staying here at home, crystal meth with a street value of some 236 million rand has been intercepted by SARS customs officers at OR Tambo International Airport in Ekurhuleni on the East Rand. The pelleted cargo, weighing 785 kilograms, was destined for Australia, and the Hawks were summoned for the detection and seizure of the goods, as well as further investigation. SARS Commissioner Edward Kieswetters has commended customs officers for halting the dispatch of the drugs. And in March 2021, Western Cape Police seized cocaine on a fishing vessel near Saldanha Bay with more than R500 million. In news making headlines further abroad or further afield, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres called for an immediate end to the violence in Libya. The capital, Tripoli, was quiet early yesterday, a day after the worst fighting there for 2 years claimed 32 lives and wounded 159. The fighting has raised fears of a wider conflict in Libya over the political standoff between Prime Minister Abdulhamid al-Deiba in Tripoli and Fatih Bashanga, who seeks to install a new government in the capital. Bashanga's attempt on Saturday to take over in Tripoli was his second such attempt since May. Now, the American Space Agency is counting down to the liftoff of its giant new moon rocket, the Space Launch System, otherwise known as the SLS. It's the most powerful vehicle ever developed by NASA and will be the foundation of its Artemis project, which aims to put people back on the lunar surface after a 50-year absence. The uncrewed rocket is timed to go up from the Kennedy Space Center at 1:30 this afternoon, and the SLS will loop around the moon before splashing down in the Pacific Ocean in 6 weeks' time. Now, this morning's discussion is all about prioritizing a career versus being a mom. Can a woman exist having both? Well, the next month, NASA will send a new crew to the International Space Station, and for the first time, there will be a Native American woman aboard. Now, astronaut and mom, Colonel Nicole Anapau of the Wallaki Indian tribe, will be mission commander responsible for all phases of the flight. Now, being both astronaut and mom can be tricky, she says, but she manages by balance and compartmentalizes all of her responsibilities. Man with a master's in mechanical engineering says that her husband and her young son, Jackson, receive her full attention when she's home. From the moment she walks in at the door until Jackson goes to bed, she's mom and not astronaut. And she learned to balance her home and work life, focusing on the task at hand, she says. Meanwhile, she often sits outside with Jackson looking at the moon. And hopefully someday he'll be able to watch mom walk on the moon, she says smilingly. Ah, what a feel-good story that. That's where we leave it for this morning. Here is a final look at your traffic with Zoe.
Thank you, Tabiso. Well, let's take a final look at your roads. In Cape Town, in the Western Cape, there's congestion on the N7 southbound. It's at the N1 incoming ramp. Expect delays this morning. Moving to KwaZulu-Natal, if you're in Umhlanga, there's an accident on the N2 southbound. This is after the Umhlanga ramp. The left lane is closed. Please add extra travel time to your journey. And moving to Geldenhuys in Johannesburg, there's an obstruction on the N3 northbound at the Geldenhuys interchange. Both left lanes are closed. You can expect delays. Well, that's where we leave your traffic for this morning. Let's take a final look at your weather. And if you can hear some background noise, it's raining heavy in Cape Town this morning. But let's take a look at some news. Now, nearly a third of the country's water is lost due to alien invasion plant species in critical water catchment areas where rainwater naturally collects into rivers and dams. Now, alien plants such as pine and wattle trees threaten up to 30% of the water supply in major cities such as Cape Town and Port Elizabeth. The city of Cape Town says efforts continue to reclaim water losses caused by invasive alien plants. A year ago, the city and the Nature Conservancy signed a 2-year memorandum of understanding, which involves a 50 million rand commitment to clear invasive alien trees in remote mountainous areas. Mayoral Committee member for Water and Sanitation says research indicates that the restoration of priority subcatchments through the control of alien plant invasions will result in estimated annual water benefits of 55 billion litres, which is the equivalent of nearly 2 months of Cape Town's annual water supply. Well, from your latest environmental news, let's take another look at those sunrise views. One of our regulars, Nancy Govender, is up first, showcasing this magical photo of the waves brushing up against the rocks in Pennington, KwaZulu-Natal, and this is as the sun starts to peak above the clouds. Then another regular, Owen Granger from Lakeside in Cape Town, snapped this shot from his lounge window, showing off the radiant colors, as you can see on your screen, lighting up the lake. Then Naz Kremzar shared this incredible view of the clouds from the shoreline of Amanzimtoti, making it feel like heaven. And finally, we had Adrian Witboy in Durbanville showing off his photography skills with this phenomenal photo of the sun peeking through the flowers. Absolutely just love this perspective. Thank you for it. If you have a beautiful sunrise photo that you'd love to share with us, send it on our WhatsApp line. The number is 063 408 8863. Let's take a final look at your temperatures. Polokwane, your low is 11, your high 29. Very hot conditions in Mbombela today. 12's your low, 36 your high. Pretoria 12.27, Johannesburg 11.25. Sunny in Mahikeng 9 with a high of 30. Klerksdorp 7.29, Kimberley 2.23. Bloemfontein a cool start of 0 with a high of 24. Rainy conditions in KZN. In fact, I'll start off in Richards Bay. Excuse me, 13's your low, 23 your high. Pietermaritzburg 6 with a high of 20. Durban 11 reaching a high of 21. Partly cloudy conditions in Mthatha, 3 with a high of 19. East London 9 with a high of 20. Rain can be expected in Cradock, -1 with a high of 18. Gqeberha 10 reaching a high of 16. Rainy conditions in George 8 with a high of 13. Cape Town rain with a low of 10, a high of 15. Worcester 1 reaching a high of 14. Sutherland, your low is -4, your high 11 for today. And Uppington, expect some sunny conditions with a low of 6 and a high of 25 degrees Celsius. Well, that's where we leave your weather on your Feel Good Breakfast show. If you have the sunrise view to share, please do so on our WhatsApp line.
Now, I reckon the rains came just to bless this incredible young soul. Scintilla is here to perform. I know we've kept her waiting long enough, and we've kept you waiting long enough. She is an alternative R&B songstress, if you can even try to classify her, but she is amazing. We're going to hear music from her debut album, and this one you want to download as soon as you've heard it. But first, get into this mood. Here is Losing Game. Enjoy.
What do you want to play?
The people we love are the ones that need us most. They'll always need a place to call home and opportunities to build their future.
Daddy, come.
That's why I took out life insurance from Old Mutual, so he'll always get what he needs, even if I'm not there.
Get 5 million Rand life insurance for only 509 Rand per month. Speak to your advisor and help your family get ahead of life.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. We apologize for those technical difficulties. We will be sorting it out so that you can get that performance we've been promising you all morning. And something else we've been promising you is 3 fitness segments. Now, if you're a beginner, it's important to focus on nailing your form and techniques while lifting. Now, recovery is also essential. So depending on your goals, scheduling 2 strength training days and 2 cardio conditioning days with a day off after each strength day will be ideal. Now, the idea is to challenge the body and to give it the time to make some positive adaptations to your workout schedule. And here to take us through it is Leisha Fitness. She's with us for the last time this morning as we unpack the final of the workouts.
Yes, I have a core specific workout today for all the ladies. So we want to work every area of the tummy. And so, yeah, I'm also obviously running a 8-week Fired Up is the theme, getting you fired up and ready for summer. And it caters for all fitness levels. And it's happening at a gym in Sea Point called Fotia Fitness. So, yeah, sign-up dates do close on the 5th of September.
So you need to get your entries in, and they can find all the details at Leisha Fitness.
At Leisha Fitness, on my Instagram, everything is there.
So, of course, focusing on the core is part of this challenge.
Yes.
And you're about to give us a little sneak peek of some core workouts.
I mean, in the challenge, we've got cardio, we've got strength training, toning, with every training style created for you guys.
Oh, fantastic.
So, our first movement, 90 degrees, hands behind the head. Now our core is activated. So from here, we're going to crunch it in 3 times. Try and get your elbows to touch the front of your legs. Once you've done 3, you're going to lift it up straight, and you're going to tap as high as you can. Also, 3 times. Good, and then drop it back down. And again, 1, and 2, and 3, and up, and 1, and 2, and 3. So you're feeling that full core burn there?
Yeah, you're feeling it.
So another one I like to do is it's an exercise called flutter kicks. A lot of people do lay flat on their backs, but I like to get a bit more core involved. So we're going to stay on our elbows, and you're going to keep those legs straight, and up and down, we're just going to flutter kick. With this exercise, you can obviously count rep-based, or you can keep it time-based. Obviously, the more time you do, the more difficult it is. So just keeping it there.
And this is also really good to get the core engaged.
Core engaged, and I mean, some people do struggle with their lower back, so keeping your elbows elevated does obviously help quite a bit.
It does indeed, because you do feel it a little bit in the lower back.
You feel it a little bit in the lower back, but without a strong lower back, your core obviously won't be strong.
It's a little bit of a vicious cycle if you think about it. So you need to train it. Yes.
Exactly. So the next one we have, this is called a bear hold. You want to keep your legs 90 degrees knees, as well as your arms in line with the shoulders. You're going to lift the knees slightly off the floor, and you're going to step out straight with the left and the right, step back in with the left and the right. And you're going to repeat this movement, doing the left leg first, and then we're doing the right leg.
And the idea is not to put the knees back on the ground.
Don't put the knees back on the ground. This is going to really get that core working and also help to stabilize your entire body. Right. This one, there's many variations you can do too, but that is one that I have planned for you today.
Oh, fantastic. Well, Leisha, this is amazing. Taking us through all the different workouts. We did some body weight. We did some, we started off with body weight. We did a little bit of a band with the band.
Yes.
We've just done some core. And can we just do a final stretch or 2 for recovery?
Recovery stretching. So one of my favorites is with the spine and the legs. Left leg forward. You're going to lean it in. Again, hand, shoulder width apart. Keep the hand inside of your foot. And from here, follow with your neck and just turn up and look to the ceiling. This is stretching the hamstrings, the glutes, the spine, the arms. Bring it back down, and you're going to switch sides. Switching sides, and turning up. Good.
Oh, and it gives a good stretch in the back.
Nice, good stretch. This is basically a full body stretch. And anybody and everybody can do this one. And then you can just press it back all the way through, push the palms against the floor. Lovely, and hold it there.
Fantastic. Well, Leisha, I wish you all the best with your 8-week fitness program.
Thank you.
People can find you at Leisha Fitness on social media. That's where you can sign up if you're keen for an 8-week challenge. But Lisa, give me a high five.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We've got some breakfast sorted. We're going to dip into a little bit of yogurt. And of course, if you have some fun exercise ideas and tips that you would love to share with us, you're welcome to do that on our social media. Cheers.
Well done, ladies. Well, if you thought that core workout was difficult to stomach, how about a 27-70 loss to Australia? Unpalatable. Yes, South Africa went down in their second game on the trot in the Rugby Championship, going down 27-17 to Australia. And if you think it's burning for us, imagine if you were a former Springbok player. Of course, joining us on the couch, our regular sports anchor, Michael Pedro, along with former Springbok prop and now Deputy Mayor of Cape Town, Eddie Andrews. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. Just let it fester, let it burn. You can also let us know your thoughts on this game and the campaign as it's running at the moment with a voice note, 0634068863. Eddie, thank you so much for joining us. I was hoping we weren't going to talk about this morning. I just kind of brushed it under the carpet. 2 losses on the trot. In fact, we haven't had a loss or win in Australia since 2013. What is going on? What went wrong this weekend, do you think?
They beat us. I think that's what happened.
They just played better.
Exactly. That's the nature of sport. You try and beat your opponent. You score more points than them. I think they wanted it a lot more than what we wanted it. They've also come off a back of a bad run of results against Argentina as well. And we've just lost against the All Blacks. So I think who wanted it the most in the day was quite evident. They had lots of momentum, and we won the back foot within the first minute when they scored the try.
And they had us on the back foot, and we just weren't really able to find our way back. Michael, we had such hope. We had such hope on Friday.
We did. When I was watching the game, I remember us saying, you said Springboks by 10, I said Springboks by 7. What a disappointment.
There were a couple of gambles going into it, and now we are looking forward to the World Cup, and we know it's about betting down that personnel, certainly in the back line, getting the right kind of personnel. If you could put your finger on anything that didn't click, what was that major fault?
Yeah, I think it was just the final execution, because for the majority of that first half especially, we were basically camped in Australia's 22, forcing penalties, forcing turnovers in their territory. We just didn't have that cutting edge. We found it towards the end of the game, but by then it was too late already. And to be fair, Australia probably did take their foot off the gas a little bit once they were 15 points ahead with like 5 minutes remaining. So I think just the execution is something that we needed to work on. And it reminds me sort of the 2 games against the All Blacks, where the All Blacks in the first game tried everything and nothing worked. Tried everything the same in the second game, and it came off and they ended up winning. So on a different day when those passes went to hand and those line breaks were there, it could have been a different result. But again, that's something you need to work on, is capitalizing on the possession, on the territory, and executing when you have to.
Yeah, you got to seal the deal. It doesn't help when the ref seemingly isn't on your side. I don't want to ever say that a ref is to blame for a Springbok loss, but there were a couple of questionable kind of decisions within the mix there. How much can a ref, and I know you're doing the hard yards in the front row, you are grinding it out, my friend. So when you've got to go down for another scrum, when you've got to get into the tight again, it can wear a player down. Do you think the ref had an effect on this game, or am I reaching here for a backdoor?
Graham, ultimately rugby is all about momentum. It's all about the inches, and I think when you don't have momentum and the decisions goes against you, it's extremely difficult. I think when we missed the first 2 penalties as well, so it all contributes to the momentum loss that I think Mike spoke about early on. And it does have an impact, but as a professional player and as a part of a team, you try and ignore that, and you try and generate your own momentum and work with the ref. The player will never change a decision that the ref has just made. That's the reality. Has been that way, will always be that way. And so you have to look at how do you get momentum and create that, retain your position and get across the advantage line.
So that being said, what do we need to do now, moving forward? It might seem like a catastrophic 2 losses on the trot, but we're kind of finding our balance there, and it's not all bad. There are some positives, certainly in the players that we are now tapping into. What needs to shift for our next game?
I think we shouldn't be too concerned. I think we, as a Springbok team, we play well when we're the underdogs. I am very concerned when we are tagged as the favourites, so that's always a problem. We've got some good momentum leading up to the World Cup. That's important. Jacques Nibenaba he's got a big squad, and there's got depth there as well. That's important. And the players are playing for each other. The results are not going our way, but at least they believe in each other, they believe in the structure, they believe in the coach, and that's more important than the results at the end of the day. And also look at what's happening in the Rugby Championship. Also, All Blacks have lost against Argentina. Australia has lost against Argentina. They're no longer the whipping boys. I think we need to understand that Argentina is a force to be reckoned with. They are top of the log at the moment. So we've got some work to do ahead, and I think I wouldn't be too concerned. I think we've just, hitting our straps. Eventually we will.
Yeah, I choose to look at the players that are starting to come through that we might not have seen because we are so kind of clicked to this one particular group of people. Understandably, time for some new players to shine as well, moving to the World Cup.
I think so, and I think you look at playing players in their positions. Warwick Gelant, for example, started on the wing against Australia, and he's an uber-talented player, but he's not a winger. And I think when you brought in someone like Kainan Moody into the squad, who is a winger and who did so well for the Bulls, play people in the positions that they did well in the United Rugby Championship. I mean, 2 South African teams in that final. The Stormers winning it. Yeah, you should. So the talent is there. Play people in their right positions.
The talent's there, the system's there, the big guns are behind the team, and these people are powerful, man. They're running cities. I absolutely love it. Eddie, thank you so much for joining us. I know you've got a very, very busy schedule, but I'm sure all of the Bok fans out there still appreciate the fact that this is where your heart is. We absolutely love you. We love you as well. And hopefully you guys aren't feeling too despondent, but if you want to send some messages through 063-408-8863, let us know how you felt about the Rugby Championship this weekend and moving forward.
Take lashes higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara. The curved brush volumizes and lifts lashes vertically for a wide-eyed lash look. Hemp seed oil conditions for healthy-looking lashes. Go higher. New Revlon Eyes Wide Open Mascara.
Plan your next Cape Town getaway home to the world-renowned Table Mountain, breathtaking mountain ranges, stunning natural wonders, thrilling landscapes, and picturesque ocean vistas. Get from 15% off when you stay 3 nights or more and recharge even longer with the Stay Longer on Us offer. This offer is valid at participating Marriott International hotels in South Africa and Africa. Book now on emea.marriott.com.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. You are still with your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso. Now, whilst it's the start of a brand new week and maybe a busy Monday morning for so many of you out there, let's take 5 minutes, okay? Just 5 minutes to sit back, relax, take a deep breath, yes, sigh of relaxation and get reflective in another round of moments, memories, and more. Now, today our theme is all about home. Home, guys. Join in and answer these questions with us. Guys, Zoe, Graham, I know that We all know that home is certainly, without a doubt, where the heart is, right? We know that. What does home mean to you, Zoe?
For the longest time, home was where mom and dad lived.
Yeah.
But now that I'm a grown-up, I need to make home where I live. And that was quite a bit of a transition, but it helped putting down roots.
Yes.
So now home is Cape Town for me. Home is where I live. Home is my home.
Yeah. And it's not just...
You just bought a new home.
Yeah, but you just bought one, right?
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It's not just a physical address.
Yeah.
I think that it's got so much more to it, Graham.
Completely. I mean, I grew up in Joburg. I was born in Cape Town, grew up in Joburg.
Yeah.
It's so funny that you mention it like this. I kept coming down to Cape Town to replenish, to revive myself, to do these amazing movies or ads, like international things. And I was like, this is my happy place.
Yeah.
Why am I not living here?
Yes.
And I moved down, and within 2 weeks I was on Expresso, and my whole life just shifted dramatically. This is home. But if I have to be honest right now, all of my effort goes into the quality of life of my children.
Yeah.
So right now, my home is all about this investment in them and creating a space where they can play and be safe.
And we create these spaces, right, where we feel safe when we step into them, where we feel like we are rooted in a specific or set, sort of set space. Aesthetically and physically and emotionally and otherwise, these spaces must make us feel something. What is the ideal feeling, an emotion that you kind of want to get out of your one?
Well, my home, I feel best when it's neat and everything's in its place. But you know what it is? I have 2 animals. I have 2 fur kids, and they really add such a beautiful energy to the home. So it really. I mean, if that is the question, I think it's having my animals.
They're almost like accessories.
They are.
Little black cats.
But what is your dream home like then? Is it a home where space isn't an issue so that they can run around and do whatever they want to do?
My dream home has to have beautiful shutters. I've been obsessed with those window shutters.
Quite specific, yeah.
My dream home has shutters, and I think, I want a family, and I want my home to be the home where the kids can come and get together, because that wasn't always possible at my house growing up.
Yeah.
But I had friends whose home became like the base for all the friends. So I want a house that's kid-friendly and entertaining, and it's easy to get together and just have a good time in the house.
Yeah, I love that.
I love it. Maybe it's because I was watching Stranger Things recently or something, but I remember my childhood being very much like that, these adventures, like the Brown Biker Gang, like that kind of vibe. And we used to get up to the most amazing adventures at our house. There was something about like having a big garden, and I know how hard my mom had to work to get to that point.
Yeah.
And like you said, when you don't always have that, when you do eventually get that, so that's what I want for my kids. I want us, the next phase, to be that beautiful home with a massive garden that all the other kids can come and they can play hide and seek, they can play Dungeons and Dragons, they can do whatever they want, but that can be the vibe there. So again, it's very much about creating a safe and happy place for my kids.
That people feel, well, the people who live in that home feel connected to. Zoe, when you're traveling, which you do lots of, what is, besides your home, your one other favorite place in the world? What is your favorite place in the world?
My favorite place in the world, I think, is... I have many. So right now I can say it's where I created a lot of my childhood memories, which was with family in Ceres. My favorite place is where my mom and dad are currently living in Amanzimtoti in Durban. But also every adventure that I go onto, I always say that's my favorite holiday. The last holiday is always my favorite holiday.
Yes.
So it's a bit difficult to choose just one favorite place.
And I can imagine it must be difficult when you've done yacht weeks over here, over there, everywhere, been to everywhere.
It's funny that you said it, because we get a very skewed perspective of life. So I've traveled the world, but it's to these international press junkets where you go to New York, you stay on Central Avenue in a 5-star hotel. So when people experience New York, I doubt they've experienced it like that. So I always leave these places thinking, I want to go there. That's where I dream holiday. And I'm aware that I've done LA like that, I've done London like that, I've done New York. I am blessed in that sense. I got to say, I love the West Coast. Like West Coast for me is my happy place. Absolutely love it. I'm going to one day be wealthy enough to have a holiday home. But if for right now I could go back anywhere and take my family, it would be New York over Christmas time.
Yes, a white Christmas.
Mind-blowing,
okay, so certainly not rushing to Heathrow International Airport fast and furiously for Graham. I think that's still a bit of a sore one, but really, really interesting hearing all of these different perspectives come from you guys, and I think that you guys have been able to create those home spaces for yourselves. But I think it's now time for us to turn over to you. It's your turn to answer us. Besides home, what is your most favorite place in the world and why? Share your answers with us on the Expresso Facebook and Twitter pages. Use that hashtag more than a rusk, and the best entry will win 2,000 bucks, 2,000 rand in cash, plus the Oma Rusks hamper. I mean, it's a favorite thing around here. T's and C's can be found on expressoshow.com. So while you guys carry on about all the wonderful places that you guys have been to, I'm just going to run to the...
I've got Wanderlust. You can get out of here.
Yeah. Carry on.
The funny thing is, I was just thinking about it now, and all I'm dreaming of...
There's more in every dip with Oma.
I know.
Can you eat an Oma without your cup of coffee? Yes, you can. The weird thing is, I think after lockdown, because we were so intensely connected to our home, if I think about it, I just love my home.
I love my home too.
And family there.
And you've made it home by adding a layer of paint or putting your favorite things in it. There we go. Oh, but you know what is also makes home beautiful is when you smell yummy food coming from it, from the kitchen.
That's what I'm smelling.
Let's see.
Oh.
There is a classic mayonnaise that brings out the traditional French in 3 levels of tanginess. The mild classic, the medium classic, the strong classic. Tangy, the way you love it.
Made with love by Clover.
Stunning conversation. I do love that very much. Now, whilst the origin of the trending grinder sandwich may be unclear, we're certain it's one of those that must make recipes set to become a classic. Yes, much like a sub, the grinder sandwich is loaded with meats, cheese and a lettuce salad, best made with your preferred tanginess of Clover classic mayo. And Teresa Allier is still here showing us how it's done. Teresa, you know everything about creating home memories and creating a home out of experiences. What are some of your favorites, or maybe just one of your favorite things about your home?
I know it sounds very, very cheesy, but it really is where my family is. Wherever they are, that's my home. And yeah, we're a little unit of 4. We love doing everything together, so that's home for me.
I love that. And I've seen you cook with your kids as well.
Love it.
Which is really awesome. Okay, so let's get into this recipe.
All right. How amazing does this look? I mean, that's a mouthful.
It's stunning. It's stunning.
Okay, so you're going to do some salad for us.
Cool.
And I'm going to do some assembling. We've got some beautiful fresh ingredients.
There we go.
Iceberg lettuce, some red onions, some peppers, and in our flavors, we've got some herbs, mixed herbs, red wine vinegar and garlic powder, and then bringing it all together is our Clover Classic Mayo.
My fave.
So yeah, you're basically going to mix it all together. It's going to be nice and creamy.
Great. Okay,
and
cool.
I'm going to build a sandwich.
Okay, cool.
I've got some French loaf here, so crusty bread is really where it's at because you want that crunch and that texture.
It's also part of the experience. Come on, you'll get nowhere without crusty bread, okay?
And I'm going to start layering. So we're going to just do a selection of meats and cheeses. I've got a whole lot here, but you obviously don't have to use all of this if you don't want to.
Okay.
So I'm going to start with some ham.
Great, going
gonna layer
with
that
the
on.
ham.
And a bit of salami.
You're going ham, Teresa.
I am.
I love it.
So I'm just going to alternate those to do a nice little layer. You can have it sticking out just a little bit to make it look...
I think it also does add so much to the aesthetic of it all.
Yes,
listen, we've made this pretty simple. If you want to be like Teresa and her family and really create those experiences out of food, please do go on to expressoshow.com. Get your hands on this recipe. We've also listed there all of the ingredients you are going to need to bring it all together. So I'm going in. What is this powder?
That's garlic powder.
Oh, garlic. Garlic powder is all of the convenience.
Very, very nice. Yeah, it adds a beautiful flavour. I'm adding a bit of bacon here.
Great.
Just going all in.
I love the recipes we've been doing and we've been exploring with our Clover Classic Mayo. I think the interactiveness of all of these different recipes and dishes that we've been making is beautiful. It's so inspiring, especially as the seasons change, right?
Yeah. Perfect. Okay, so put a nice big tablespoon or 2 into the salad and you toss it all together. And then I'm going to go...
So I see we're going with a tangy mayonnaise. We're going with that medium 2, okay?
Yeah.
Now, the Clover Classic Mayonnaise range comes in 3 different levels of tanginess. You get the mild, the medium, and strong. You really can select based on your own taste preference. Now, I love this about it, that it's versatile to use. It enhances the flavors. It really does give them that punch, that kick. It does bring you tasty, mouth-watering food. It's just what you expect, right, from a classic.
Brilliant. You have to have it in your fridge.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've gone in with some cheddar, some mozzarella, some parmesan. So I haven't held back today. This is
This is
the
good.
mega sandwich.
I love when you are not holding back. You see, now you and I can continue to hang, Teresa. I love that. So I'm just mixing our salad
that
up
all
nicely.
together. And then that's going to go on top of our meat and cheese.
Oh, yeah. You can never have too much mayo, please. That's something I always say.
Have a bit more,
And it's
yeah.
something I'm going to also express visually here. Be generous with your mayo. I love mayo so much.
That's going to just hold everything together and, of course, add that beautiful flavor.
Okay, cool. So
Divine.
you take over
Pop that on
and
top.
do that.
Thank you
There
very
go.
much. That was perfect.
When would you serve this, ideally? Like a lunch, I guess?
I'm thinking a picnic lunch.
Yes, because I'm also thinking that. I'm thinking like a lunch. It's relaxed, it's laid back, but can also be something that you serve when you're hosting, let's say, over the weekend as well, and you've got guests coming through.
Very easy. And
as
you
an
can use
option.
your leftover bits and pieces from the fridge, your salad bits, you know, that bit of lettuce that's sitting in the fridge that needs to be used.
Good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Just use this if you don't mind.
Sure.
Pile it on.
Get that on there.
And then we're all sorted.
Perfection.
Yummy.
Look at this. A classic, ladies and gents. If you like, go on to expressoshow.com. Get your hands on this recipe. Yes, it's a mouthful, but it's mouth-watering. It's decadent. It's stunning. If you missed any of the steps involved in making this, here's a quick recap for you.
Made with love by Clover.
Nourish your skin with Ingram's Tissue Oil and Rich Skincare range. Now with 72-hour rich moisture for radiant, glowing skin. New look Ingram's, your skin, your brave.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Now we
can get excited. Welcome back as we enter into a very important discussion for the development of not just rugby, of young people. Now, the inaugural Cape Flats Sevens tournament, which takes place this coming weekend at the Athlone Stadium, is aimed at giving schools and players the opportunity to participate in a televised tournament held at a professionally equipped venue. This makes a difference, trust me. Now, schools will be invited to participate and bring their friends, bring their families, bring the other members of their surrounding communities, bring their tribe along for the course of these 2 days of this competition that should be scintillating. Now, along with the SABC, thank you guys, the City of Cape Town has also, they've partnered and endorsed the tournament, and I'm so glad that they are backing this. And here to tell us more about their involvement in the project is former Springbok prop and Deputy Mayor of Cape Town, Eddie Andrews himself. Eddie, welcome back. It's crazy to me that I'm getting more excited about a junior sevens tournament than I am about the Springboks playing rugby, but this is where you leave me today. I love this, buddy, and for someone who's invested so much of yourself and your time into rugby, how excited are you that this is happening for the Cape Flats?
There's a saying, Graham, that says, don't despise the days of small beginnings. It's the inaugural event, and we're very excited about that, offering a platform to young girls and boys who attend schools on the Cape Flats. And it's about the ones and the twos and not the masses. I think that is what excites me. And the fact that it'll be televised. SABC, thank you so much for the partnership. They've been driving aggressively to get the campaign off, and the 3rd and the 4th of September. And that's what it's about. These youngsters playing at a stadium, playing against other 32 teams, 400 players playing this weekend. It's going to be amazing.
I want to know what the conversion rate of seeing those players and see them climb that success ladder, because I have this crazy feeling about the Western Cape in particular, but you could probably say the same about the Eastern Cape and Mpumalanga and all of these areas that might not get the focus. Maybe a couple of players look like Lucanio Am, and these guys have raised the stakes a little bit for some of these areas, but by and large, we don't tap into this massive pool of talent. And then every now and then we do, and then the world is blown away by these talents that are revealed. Yet if we just focused on providing the platform at the right developmental stage, we would see droves of these talented players coming through. Why is this so important? Why do we need this tournament right now?
Graham, I remember when I played for the Stormers, I stayed out in Mitchell's Plain. I was driving a yellow Opel Kadett car, and I drove to Kailicha. And I fetched a colleague of mine, Jonge Nokwe. And we drove out to Belleville, where the Stormers, Western Province, were playing. Unbeknown to Jonge and I, we both ended up playing for the Springboks, you know, and representing our country. And that's what it's about. It's about the small beginnings, creating those pathways and opportunities that individual will hold on long enough and be exposed to that, develop as a player, and then, of course, break through the ranks. And that's why it's so important to have events like this. We spoke earlier about, you know, the Cape Town Tens and all those other events that happens, and no one shines the light on the talent of the schools on the Cape Flats. And over the past couple of weeks, we've received numerous emails from schools outside of Cape Town who say, we want to be part of it, but we can't distance. They want to be piece of that. And we don't have a title sponsor this year, but I know next year we won't be selling a blueprint. We'll be selling a model that has worked. It's about the socio-economic impact, and that's what it's about. We want more Jonge Nokwe, we want more Eddie Andrews, and if looking at Sia Kolisi, his road to fame, it's all about that and creating those pathways where there are opportunities.
Identifying the talent. You said something there, socio-economic, and there's a reason why the City of Cape Town is doing this and not some sports federation. What is that connection? What do we see in terms of the positive spin-off when communities see themselves represented in these teams, where they see one of their own, someone who looks and sounds just like them, taking that step up? What does that mean for a community?
You see hope. You see hope, and you then know that you don't have to conform to the social ills within your community. You can achieve success irrespective. That's what you see, and that's why it's important, and that's why this tournament is so important as well. That there's a social ill. We're saying, don't conform. You have to offer a healthy alternative. And this is what it's about this weekend.
In so many senses, and for a young person looking to transcend their situation, sport can do it. That's why we use sport as the narrative of this country, I think, because it does allow you to transcend. Most important question, how can people get involved? What can we do? What's the deal here?
So, of course, you can get involved perhaps next year. This weekend is the tournament. Next year, we're still looking to secure a title sponsor.
Come on.
We're looking at, Kit Fortune. This year, we've got a Score who sponsored kits for every single team. One less barrier that those teams have to participate and play. So next year, if you're going to be a title sponsor, we want to get the kids some boots to play and some socks and feed them for the entire weekend. Please look on the website, also on the Facebook page as well, and contact us, Cape Flat Sevens. That's where you need to go and confirm your interest to be part of the second Cape Town Flats tournament next year.
I absolutely love it, and trust me, there are organisations in the feeding space, in the economic development space. There are organisations that can join this, because we're not just working towards discovering a future Springbok, a future Eddie Andrews, which I have no doubt we will, but we're looking at developing an entire community, because it's that right, man.
The value off the field as well. That's what's important, because sport, you've got life skills you learn as a player, and that will also add value to the individual off the field, the goings, the places of influences, and the pathways that they would like to pursue.
Changing the game.
Changing the game.
You might end up becoming the Deputy Mayor of Cape
Town. You could.
Might. We are so proud of you, sir. Thank you so much for the time and the energy that you're investing in this beautiful game of ours, because it is part of the South African narrative. We can change the reality, and sport is how we're going to do it.
Thanks, Gina. Well, you know what, we're back in studio with synth pop and alternative R&B songstress Scintilla, and she's here to perform music from her debut album. Which track are you performing for us today?
I'm going to do Losing Game first.
Losing Game?
Yeah, I have 3 tracks for you. That's the 3rd track on the album.
Oh, fantastic. Well, listen, let's not keep you from singing. Here she is with Losing Game.
Teaser trick zo.
I feel like I'm losing parts of me to you. It's so confusing. Usually only committed to the music, and it's hitting me deep, 'cause I know I can't keep you to myself. I've been getting visions. You and I got lost in the midst of transmission. Would've made our way if you could've just listened to the things that I speak. Getting caught in the heat ain't gonna help. I think I'm better off alone. Think your energy is messing up my flow. What's the use in fronting? We already know that it's over. Back your clothes up, you gotta go. I think I'm better off alone. Think your energy is messing up my flow. Say what's the use in fronting? We already know that it's over. Back your clothes up, you gotta go. Love ain't enough sometimes. I'm seeing triple fives. I'm thinking that's a sign. Things gotta change. I'll see you another life. Meet in another time. Can't take another fight, or I'll go insane. I think I'm better off alone. Think your energy is messing up my flow. So what's the use in fronting? We already know that it's over. Back your clothes up, you gotta go. I think I'm better off alone. Oh, think your energy is messing up my flow. So what's the use in fronting? We already know that it's over. Back your clothes up, you gotta go. Love is a losing game. Don't got ourselves to blame. You're better off chasing fame, 'cause love is a losing game. Ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum, bum, bum.
Ba-da-dum bum bum. Ba-da-dum ba-da-dum bum bum. Ba-da-dum bum bum. Bum bum. That's it.
On your Feel Good Breakfast show, love that one, a third track off your album. Of course, she's not going anywhere. She's got another performance coming your way on your Feel Good Breakfast show, so don't go anywhere.
Career success for me.
Yes. Oh, thank you.
$100 for pleasure.
I'll take $100.
Now, join. No, just my chin. Out, just my chin. Sit down. If you're gonna once in a life,
Sits around me, I can help but feel out of place. Force your love on me, wrap me up in chantilly lace. Court, got some family, too many people I'd have to face. Wish I could blame it on cold feet, but that's not the case.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Oh, just look at those faces on your screen right there. They don't know what to do. It's a conundrum, man. If you got a once-in-a-lifetime job opportunity, would you choose between your career, starting your own family, or would you try to balance both? We asked you guys to join the conversation. Obviously, our WhatsApp line, 063-408-8863. It's been lit.
It has been. But Facebook too, right?
That's right. So let's look at the comments coming through. Shireen says, good morning, my Expresso family. I would try to balance both. Not always easy, but times are hard and you do need to provide for your family. Have a super day. Love that view. Teresa says, good morning, SAFTA nominated beautiful fam.
Oh, yeah.
I would try to balance both because one still needs to put food on the table for the family. I'm also good in multitasking. Love you tons, fam. Well, we love you too, Teresa. Love that.
Okay, well, jamming into all of that balancing act that's taking place there, Manolia Peterson says, good morning to all. Hashtag Expresso Show, fam. Hope you had a great weekend. Yes, we did. Thank you so much. Hope you did too. Balancing both would be beneficial. May you all have a blessed-filled Monday and week. Thank you. But beautiful comments. I think people have been thinking about this.
The reality is you've got to balance both. Unfortunately, we need to work. So let's hear some of those voice notes. What do you have to say this morning?
Career success for me was very important whilst I was young. Now that I'm 57, I think I should have given more time to my family. I mean, things that money can't buy are the best things in life. This is Jackie. Good morning, team.
Dropping bombs, Jackie.
I love you.
Wisdom.
I love you very much.
We love you. Thank you for your honesty and vulnerability with that one. I think that's the stark reality that a lot of women get to that point and realize that they've had to make that choice. One doesn't come with the other. Aisha also weighed in with a voice note. Let's hear.
Hello, Expresso. I think that raising a family is important.
Oh, well, there we go. Straight to the point.
That's it. Denver comes through with his sort of... Is it Enver? Is it Enver? Denver.
Let's take a listen.
Yeah, let's hear it. Enver.
Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. This is Enver speaking. Yeah, this is actually a difficult topic. For me, I think what's more important is to raise your family. But we need to know one thing. In order for me to raise my family, I have to have a solid career. So I think both of these goes hand in hand. The most important thing for me is raising family. But what I'm saying is I need to have a solid career to take care of them. So yeah, as I'm saying, this is a difficult topic. I hope you guys are fine. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm fine after weighing up this topic this morning because it is such a dynamic thing to try and wrap your head around.
Well, sometimes you've got to balance out of necessity, but I think not in sometimes. I think all times we've got to find some way of balancing and sort of prioritizing certain things in our lives. Well, thank you so much for weighing in and sharing all of those. That conversation can certainly continue to go on for all day. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. Now, we're in our fields this morning.
Yes.
Oh, yes, we are. It's Cintilla. She is here performing songs from her latest album. It's called Fables. It's my favorite album at the moment. It's sure to make your emotions run wild once you take a listen. And here she is with another performance. This one is called Runway.
Roses around me, I can help but feel out of place. Force your love on me, wrap me up in chantilly lace. Court, gods and family, too many people I'd have to face. And I wish I could blame it on cold feet, but that's not the case. I'll never be the girl you painted me out to be. I'll only ever be me. I'm unaccustomed to change. Don't foresee switching a lane. Why should I have to coast to coast? I'll never land. I know you can understand. You shouldn't have to. It's you that offered your hand. I can tell you're regretting it. Honestly, kind of expected it. Cause I've never shown you the real me without you partly rejecting it. Never had someone love my shadow without reflecting it. Had a different version of me in your head and you protected it. Kept denying my truth because you had a tough time accepting it. There's no point dissecting this. Slim chance that you'll end up getting this. Years and years we spent assessing this. So much time wasted avoiding addressing this, but trying to rush into this. It's why I push you away. It's why I always need space. Struggle to communicate while waiting till it's too late. We know there's so much to say. Honestly, think it'd be best if I just run away. You'll never love me completely. If you did, you let me out your grasp and you'd free me. Run away, I'll love you and let you release me. You may have a place in my heart, but you'll never complete me. Run away, it's all I do, it's all I know, and all of your care felt conditional. My something blue, my aching soul. No honeymoon, no, just take me home. Right before the ceremony, speeches, tears, and matrimony. In your arms and feeling lonely, not being the one, but being your one and only. All because you're scared to know the real me. I'll spare you the trouble, babe.
Here's to 31 days of rewarding ourselves for the awesome job we do every day of the year. Made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good